I'm doing pretty good. I was expecting some Blu-rays this week, and ones that I'm expecting are surprisingly getting here a day earlier than I expected. Like, I was supposed to get one today, and the one that I was expecting today was delivered yesterday, and the one that I was expecting tomorrow is being delivered today, which is nice. Let me see here, though. Question up. Okay. Alright, let's see. Got the link here. We're live everywhere. So let's bring up today's question of the day for you all so you have something to do. What book did I read that changed my life the most? I don't remember if this one was asked or not. I'd have to check the log of the back end, but I think what has changed my life a lot was mostly a manga called Liar Game. It's not available here, at least in an official capacity. I kind of wish it was. Because it had some good lessons in there, basically. Like, for example, in the culture that I grew up in, you had a lot of people that didn't really question things, and it makes sense for that to be the case, because when you're growing up as a Mormon, you're not encouraged to think too much. It's kind of a weird conundrum there. They encourage you to get an education, yeah, which means that they should allow you to explore things and learn things, but at the same time, it's like you can't question them or their doctrine, so they don't want you to think at all. And growing up, I would admittedly not really ask questions too much. And then later on, I would just go against the grain because I didn't feel that was good for me, and I was just surrounded by people that wouldn't question or ask things out. But again, I didn't really question things too much either, because I was kind of that same boat. However, when I read Liar Games, something really hit me. There was a point in the manga where it's early in the manga, and the protagonist, Kanzaki Now, believes people at face value too easily. And so she gets hurt because of that. And eventually she gets somebody to help her that was arrested for like taking down like a scam company. I forget if it was like a black company in terms of what the Japanese would do it, but it was pretty much a scam, and that was like an MLM or network business, however they want to be calling themselves these days. And so he was arrested because he took down those people. And so when he's helping out Kenzaki now, he eventually lectures her about trust, doubt, and apathy. And that whole spiel was pretty profound. Hey, Justice, how are you doing? You just caught it in the beginning, and I'm still trying to get things set up here, but how are you doing? And did you check out today's question of the day? I was just kind of answering that when you came in, and I was saying that the thing that came to my mind was a manga called Liar Game, and how it was so profound in that it taught me the importance of doubt and what role it played in actual trust. I'm glad you're doing all right. Well, yeah, Liar Game was profound on me, and it helped me walk away from things that weren't making me happy. But now I'm mostly in a better place. I do have my struggles from time to time, but I'm far more content. Things are going here good here too, just as I also mentioned that some Blu-rays that I was expecting to come this week. I kind of told you about them before, but surprisingly, I'm getting them a day earlier than I was expecting. Like, one set of Blu-rays I was expecting this week, I got those today, yesterday. Yeah, that is a good message there, and it really was profound there. I kind of found it like more so profound that it was like mainly you have to do things because you want to, and that since I was seeing that, like, his mother, I forget, Arima's mother, she was like just pressuring him and such, and that kind of lifestyle is kind of pressuring even if you want to be in there, yeah, but it just felt like he couldn't escape it, and then he found his own footing in that. But yeah, I can see it being showing the value of friendship in that. Alright, got the link shared out. So now I am going to go get a drink of water, and then I'm gonna get the game set up and switched over so you can see it. In the meantime, be sure to answer today's question of the day, everyone, if you haven't had the chance to do so. And if you don't see it, the command in the stream title should bring it up. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's see if I missed anything. I did not. Alright. So now we exit that out. Switch our inputs. Make sure to mute that. Alright. Here we are. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good here, kind of interested in checking out the new route. And also, because this route deviation is close to the beginning, we're gonna go through the beginning portion again. So that means that it should be safe to start at this position if you guys are coming in new and not familiar with this. But some information is definitely going to be desired here of the previous one. So we'll see how that goes. So let's see. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it, this isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Wow, that was new. Let's see, suddenly a rush of memories flooded into my mind. I'm glad that I decided to just start off this new route by going over again what already happened in the beginning of this, because I wasn't expecting things like that to show up. And usually that's the fun part about visual novels here, is seeing the differences. Let's see, suddenly a rush of memories flooded into my mind. Alright. Remember the incident. This is the new option. Right, how did I forget? I'd already experienced this looping phenomenon or whatever. Hold on, looping? What the hell? There was no way something like that could. But if that wasn't it, what else could explain this? How else could I, someone who died once, be alive right now? I had clear memories of getting caught up in some strange incident at Yasumizu and, shit, I couldn't remember how it ended. It was like this last time, too. My memories were all fragmented. But I did remember that I went to Yasumizu, met the people there, and died. Had I come back here when, and or because I died? That was a ridiculous idea, but the pain and fear I felt back then was just so vivid and fresh in my mind that I couldn't simply dismiss it as just a dream or illusion. There was no point in lying to myself. I was here having experienced something that made me sure I died. It was an incomplete memory from the future. I had no idea why I had it, but I definitely did. I had to come to terms with it first and foremost. The gas tank wasn't empty, but my phone couldn't find a signal and was running out of battery, and my throat was a bit dry, exactly like last time. That meant I was about to arrive at... I knew it. Oh, knew it. I didn't really want to meet that employee again, but from what I'd experienced, she was the only one I'd met before going to Fujiyoshi, so avoiding her probably wasn't a great idea. Her attitude was shit, but at least she always did what I asked, though I really didn't want to drive down that unpaved road again. Once again, she greeted me, her customer, in a borderline insane way. It actually made me kind of relieved. I wanted to believe that was just some trick of the mind. It's just like before. To her, I was just an annoying late-night customer. Oh well, I just buy what I wanted. I'll take these. Why are you getting in so much crap? No reason. Yasumizu was just desperately poor and it had me worried. What was her problem? I was the customer. With this much stuff, she had to use the register. Still grumbling, she started scanning the barcodes. When she was done, I paid and asked, 近場の人里を目指したいんですけど、地図を見せてもらえませんか? I wanted to get to the nearest settlement. Do you have a map I could look at? This question again? I wasn't expecting things to be too different, but come on, now that he's got his memories here, he shouldn't need one too badly.
Huh? 地図なんざねえよ。
No we don't, but I still want to punch her in the face right now.
そこをなんとか。
Please, I need it.
待ってろ。
Just wait. She went through the staff door.
あっ
Found it. I knew it.
た。これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。
This here's the store. Go to the north of the crossroads.
しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折してあとは直線。
You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. When you come to a fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head
地
straight.
図には森しか見えませんが。
But that's just just a forest, isn't it? I knew that it was. There wasn't even a paved road there. Why'd she recommend the road anyway? If I'd crashed and died, it'd be homicide by negligence.
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. That wasn't a lie. It wasn't weird for Yasumizu to be on the map. To not be on the map. It was a nearly abandoned settlement in the middle of nowhere. Why did she know about it? Did she live in Kamifujiyoshi or something?
とバイクじゃきつそうですね。そっちの富士吉村には。
That sounds like it'd be bad for my bike. What about this place? Fujiyoshi.
くっそ面倒な峠道で2時間かかんぞ。
It's a 2-hour drive through a shitty mountain path.
一応メモっといていいですか。
Can I write that
好
down?
きにしろよ。
Sure.
隣の町は
Where's the other closest town?
山2つ向こう。
Past 2 mountains. Man, I couldn't make any sense of the local distance measurements.
ここいらを深夜に無茶すんのは進めねえぜ。
She's saying something different here. I don't recommend going wild around these parts at night. Oh, actual consideration, though it was hard to be grateful she was the one who pointed me in the direction of that shitty road in the first
返
place.
すのも勇気ってやつじゃねえの。
Turning back takes courage too. Turning back, huh?
まあ考えますよ。どうも。
I'll think about it, thank you.
毎度。
Thanks for coming or whatever. Come on, you could just be like a Pooh instead from The Simpsons and go, thank you, come again. But no, you just have to make me want to punch you in the face.
あ、そうだ。この辺でローカルな飲み物とかってないです。陳列棚には特にはなさそうでしたけど。
Oh, by the way, got any interesting local drinks? I didn't see any in the drink aisle.
いや、そこにねえもんはねえって。
Well, then we don't have any.
もしかしたらバックヤードにあるかもしれないなと思って。
I just thought you might have something in the
あるわ
back.
けねえだろ。
Like hell we would.
まあまあ一応見るだけでも。
Could you at least check?
待ってろ。
Just wait.
あったわ。
Found it. Seriously? She brought me a 500cc bottle, all with a black liquid inside. The label looked written by hand and said, Wild Plant Cola. I expected nothing and got something huge. This place was amazing.
すみません。荷物だいぶ多くなっちゃったんで、荷台にくくるゴムロープみたいなのないですか？
Oh, sorry, but I got quite a lot of stuff. Do you have a rubber rope I could hang on my bike to hold it all?
ねえ、こ ここはコンビニだぞ。
This ain't a hardware store. As much as I want to punch her in the face, I do understand her agitation right here. But yeah, it's kind of weird how she's just doing all of this.
見てくれるだけでいいんで。
I'd be happy if you just looked.
待ってろ。
Just wait.
あったわ。
Found it. Seriously?
せっかくなんで、このメモにあるその他ちょっとしたものたちを一通り見てきてもらえないですか？
Well, since we've come this far, I have a list here. Think you can see if you have anything on it?
いい加減にしろよ、てめえ殺すぞ。
What the hell, you got a death wish or something? Good. I still want to punch her in the face, but now I'm kind of starting to understand her frustration here. It's like, Val, you're asking for a lot.
ついに殺すって言った？一応で構いませんから。
Are you saying you'd kill me? Please, I just want you to have a look.
待ってろ。
Yeah, I just want you to have a look. Okay, wait here.
あざーす。
Thanks. But yeah, right now I want to punch Haruaki in the face. Although it's understandable what's going
全部
on.
あったわ。
We had it all.
なんなんだこのコンビニ。
What the hell is this place? That's what I want to know too. It felt like she was about to kill me, but I successfully came out with pretty much all I needed. Then I just made a run for it. I opened up the weird wild plant cola. Looking up at the noisy light trap up above, I took a sip. It was cool, intense, and had a strange, grassy flavor, but wasn't too bad at all. I expected something totally gross, but it was actually a legit drink. Slightly disappointed, I looked at the ingredients. Cola and plant extract. Hold on. Cola as an ingredient? Did they just buy cola and mix it in? That's a good question there, because I've never seen cola as an ingredient either. And plant extract could be anything from fruits to poisonous plants. Yep, definitely could be. What the hell? Was this even safe to drink? Well, at least it tasted good. It was probably smart to just turn around and drive away. Entering Fujiyoshi means death. Turn back, perhaps. That was what the loops were trying to tell me. Maybe I ought to listen. But was it really that easy? I had no real grounds for this, but if the cause of this strange phenomenon was somewhere in the village, perhaps I couldn't break out of the loop until I solved the mystery behind it. What would happen if I left then? Would I go on and live the rest of my days only to die and come back here? Would I return to youth after years of being old? That part didn't sound half bad actually, but it was really... Oh, but was it really something I could just accept so easily? This was just speculation. But what if I actually hadn't moved an inch from that mountain pass? Was everything then, now, and until death, and antemortem fever, dream, and dying again would just bring me back there? Back there? If that was how it was, everything I do with my life from this point onward would be meaningless. Maybe I really should move on only after taking care of whatever was binding me. Also, how could I leave something so strange, unnatural, and incomprehensible and just return to the city? Let's see. So I plan to enter it, but at least I'll be able to come back to this if it's a choice. So we'll enter through the normal route. As I finished my drink, I made my decision. I'd return there. I'd face that tragedy again. Of course, I was curious about this looping phenomenon, but I did recall what I thought during my final moments. It was something like, if only I'd handle this better. And for better or worse, this weird looping phenomenon had given me a chance to do just that. If I went about it all a bit better, perhaps I could get a better ending. Isako Mamiya, Yudai Hashimoto, Kanzo Makishima, Yoshisugu Oribe, Takumi Muro, The Old Man Who Cried Wolf, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Rikako Uematsu, Kaori Oribe, Kinosuke Nosato, Mako, hell, even Yasunaga Oribe, Tai Yamawaki, and Haru Makishima were just victims of some strange superstition. But I, Haruaki Fusaishi, could not delude myself. I was no hero. I had no powers, no convictions. Yeah, no convictions. I was just a dilettante. My only motivation here was a sense of perfectionism. I was annoyed at how many mistakes I'd made the first time around. Plus, there was a certain attraction I felt toward the unknown. It was an urge foundational to my being, and I'd be risking my life on its behalf. I wasn't about to pretend I was acting for the sake of others here. Although, Chiemi Serizawa, though she hated her childhood home, it remained part of who she was, and I wanted to keep that from being tarnished with blood. That motive was perverse, forceful, selfish, lustful, and filthy, and I couldn't let myself forget any of that. I remembered the names of those I'd meet, and what I had to do. I turned the key, opened the throttle, pushed the signal to the left, and connected the clutch. Away I went, starting with a right turn.
しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっから、そこを右折して、あとは直線。
You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it when you come to a fork. Next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight. I quickly came across it. I could clearly remember this overpass. The large boulder wasn't new to me either. But I wouldn't take that route this time. I just kept on driving, not lowering my speed for a moment. Full speed ahead. I drove on the winding mountain path. Strangely enough, my fatigue, though present, wasn't too bad and my head was perfectly clear. I knew which route to take without even looking at my copy of the map. Or maybe I'd driven through here before? Perhaps this wasn't the first choice I'd made, but one of many? I couldn't be sure, and since my memories were so incomplete, nothing was certain. Still, they'd be an asset in the fight ahead. I wasn't going into this unarmed. I could no longer see the moon. If those memories held true, the rain would begin soon. I drove in darkness, but I could still make out a sign above me. The road wasn't wide, but I decelerated and somehow managed a U-turn, There were no other cars, so no one would complain. I returned and looked at the sign. It said driving ahead would have led me to Kachihara while by turning right I'd find myself in Fujiyoshi.
ようやくか。
Finally. It's already past midnight, but actually earlier than I thought. A 30-minute drive from this point would lead me to Fujiyoshi, or rather, Kami Fujiyoshi, the place that wasn't too popular among Yasumizu's people. Alright. We are going to enter.
Oh, 家だ。
Oh, a house. My time estimate was more or less right. After 30 or so minutes, I began seeing houses between the hills and the trees. I eventually left the forest and could see as well as anyone could in the middle of the night. It was already raining and I knew it'd only get worse. I had to do something before that happened. There were next to no city lights and not a single house I could see was lit up either. However, unlike Yasumizu, the destitute place where most of the houses had been built from wood, the houses here were modern. The road was well paved too. I could even see some bus stops and vending machines, emphasizing that this was modern Japan.
宿があるとしても、この時間に突然素泊まりができるとは思えないな。
Even if they have an inn or something, I doubt they'd accept someone barging in so late. Some would think there was a way for me to at least get a roof over my head, but I knew that was just a city dweller misconception. Same went for the idea that rural folk were nice enough to let you stay if you just asked nicely. That was just pure delusion. In actuality, rural areas were subject to local legends and traditions, with many of the residents believing good, peaceful lives were only possible thanks to their protection. Of course, that wasn't always wrong, but that was also the reason why many rural people were so cold to outsiders. Hell, this was a village so behind the times it still had a settlement for the ostracized, which they discriminated against so badly. This place was probably even more insular than your average rural village. They wouldn't take kindly to an outsider like me and would probably be worried the entire time I stayed here. I could only imagine how strongly they'd react if some brown-haired man suddenly drove in on a bike and... Hey, what are you doing? Stop right there. Get off and come with me. Was I some sort of idiot? Like the city boy I was, I just went in there thinking it'd all just work out. And now I'd caught the attention of a police officer. Well, I doubted he'd arrest me or anything, but the fact that there was some weirdo who invaded the village in the middle of the night would spread among the people here in less than a day. Now I'd be treated like a criminal if I wanted to talk to anyone here. The officer looked middle-aged, but what stood out about him was the fact that he seemed like the most generic meathead old man from the countryside. He told me to sit down here and wait until he came back. I could only imagine the chewing out I was in for. Still, I was pretty sure that passing Kami Fujiyoshi was one of the main conditions here. I could clearly remember. I had memories of this. Isako Mamiya and Yudai Hashimoto came there through the normal route, and they weren't considered a problem. They died on the first day of the feast, but that wasn't because they were outsiders, they just violated the feast's rules. They either hadn't cleansed themselves, sheltered all alone or dreamed. My assumption was that before it all happened, they'd stay at an inn in Kamifujiyoshi. They'd only come to Yasumizu on the day for the sake of an article. Unfortunately for them, the mists came and the landslide happened, making it impossible for them to go back to Kamifujiyoshi by car. Then everyone started sheltering and no one came to help them. Forget the outsider, old man Konzo. I'll check the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to yours. Yeah, even Takumi-san had tried to cut me off because I was an outsider, giving me a way to survive. However, improvised was probably a huge risk for Chiemi. I had to keep that in mind. Back to the journalists, though. They'd ended up abandoned in the village plaza, clueless about what was happening. What had they done then? They'd obviously chosen to spend the night in the van. I had no idea how Hashimoto-shi and Mamiya-san fit in there together, but since they hadn't slept alone, they'd broken the shelter rule. Hell, I wasn't sure if the van was a valid source of shelter to begin with, even if locked. That was probably why Hashimoto-shi's body was found with the van. And since Hisako Mamiya had probably roamed around at night, she'd broken the dream rule. I had no idea why she'd gone outside, but it could have been something simple, such as nature calling or a search for a better place to sleep. Of course, as a journalist, she might have smelled a scoop in this ominous village and gone out to gather info. Not to mention, they couldn't have taken a bath in their situation, so they obviously hadn't cleansed themselves. And so she died at the hands of that thing. Now, about what happened to me. Now about what had happened to me. I died once after leaving the outdoor toilet. Dying because I'd gone outside was understandable, but honestly, I wasn't sure if that toilet even counted as inside. I'd bet that it didn't. And of course, I hadn't bathed or slept, so I broke all the rules. And yet I survived. What had my situation different then? It was whether I'd been found by that thing or not. Upon seeing me, it recognized me as a rule breaker and executed me. But when it hadn't found me, I had survived despite breaking all the rules. That meant that the sheltering law was simply a method meant to keep the werewolf-like thing from finding you. The time I'd survived, it tried to force its way in, but failed. Nothing had happened to me because I was locked in, but if the lock was broken or something, I'd have been found and killed easily. Basically, you could avoid the monster by just properly locking yourself in somewhere. Meiko was proof of that. She was a lost child who'd come from the hated Serenaga, but she'd survived all the way up to the end without succumbing to the corruption. That meant the important thing there was to get a lockable residence in Yasumizu with a bath. And that was exactly why arriving via normal route was necessary. If I'd come from Serenaga again, most of the inhabitants would treat me with distrust and disgust, driving me away. But if I was a person who had arrived through Kamifujiyoshi for whatever reason, they'd be willing to accommodate. Meiko was probably only given a place because she was young and because Rikako Uematsu had protected her. I couldn't expect similar treatment. Rikako Uematsu preemptively gave a house to Meiko. To a small child like her, that made it seem like she knew the mists and the feast would come. I'd think more on that later, though. It could be that she'd given her a key right after the mists came. Anyway, if I could be like Mako and get a proper place I could stay in, I'd have the right to participate in the Feast of the Omnipurge. I'd be able to listen to the talks myself instead of relying on Chiemi, and be able to contribute my own thoughts. I'd also learn much more about the feast. That'd mean a lot, considering that some people there, especially the elders, wouldn't want to talk about Yasumizu's problems to those outside the feast. A part of me wanted to avoid another tragedy, but the part of me that wanted to find out what was behind this mystery was equally strong. That monster and the thing that allowed me to still be here, this looping phenomenon, were the main mysteries here. Though I did have some questions about the monster. It hadn't found me when I had locked myself in the toilet. It was probably just curious why it was locked. Couldn't a monster with a wolf head just track me by scent? Why did it half-ass the job? Its failure to eliminate me only made the inhabitants more suspicious of me. There were no feast laws regarding outsiders. That was why it was best for us to just not to be present. Looking at the current laws, those who didn't have a place to stay were outsiders and they had to be removed because of that. This system worked fine for the most part, but then there was me, a proper breach. If that monster meted out the corruption, it was on the side of Great Lord Shinai. As such, it should have used some divine powers or whatever to address the problem. Also, it seemed to me like they'd had the power to unlock doors. Man, this is getting confusing. Last time, the wolves were Yasunaga Oribe and Tai Yamawaki. According to legend, they had been replaced by wolves who'd come back from the dead, but their story was completely different. They said they were normal people who had wolves as their guardians. That meant that the thing couldn't have been Yasunaga or Tai-san. It was more like an agent of the same side as whatever granted them their powers. I had no idea why they were getting the protection of the Guardians, but from what I could tell, Guardians were like fragments of divine power. And if you were on the same side as the one who granted those powers, couldn't you just use the unlocking power whenever you wanted? Why would a supernatural being make such a careless mistake? Any assumptions made beyond this point would just be grasping at straws and bias my observations. I'd just stop here for now. Anyway, it was imperative I got myself a place to stay. What was I doing here anyway? I've been theorizing about this and that for about half an hour now. Dawn was close. I only had a little over 10 hours until mist came, and I had to find a secure place to stay within that time. That was hard to begin with, but as things stood, it was outright impossible. Did I have to run away? What if I just ran away to Yasumizu, so they came from Kamifujiyoshi like it was no big deal and asked them to let me live there? Well, they had enough imagination to suspect me. I definitely needed someone from Kamifujiyoshi to vouch for me, and for that, I had to find something that could turn this around. I looked around the police box. A tidy desk, a rotary phone. This felt like the place of an officer from the mid-20th century. There were wanted posters on the walls. Oh, they'd caught that guy. One of the men even had the look of a criminal. And that one, a serial killer, eh? And it was possible he was lurking in the area, huh? That was pretty freaky. Finally, I heard some noise. The door opened and the officer
逃
returned.
げねえでいい度胸じゃねえか。
Didn't run away? You've got
逃
guts.
げてよかったんですか？
I should have ran.
あ
What was that? He wasn't one to mess around.
別に僕に後ろ暗いところはありませんので。
I mean, I didn't do anything
お
wrong.
前は
What's your name?
夫妻師春明です。工房の棒に岩石の石で夫妻師。太陽のように明治の明で春明。
Haruaki Fusaishi. Haru from Sun and Aki from Meiji for Haruaki. And Fusa from Workshop. And Ishi from Stone for Fusaishi.
ふさいし。変わっとる名前だな。まさか偽名じゃなかろうな。
Fusaishi. What a weird name. Best not to be a fake kid. Rude.
東京もんか。
You from Tokyo?
まあ、そうですけど。
Yes, I am. It's like anyone weird that's from Tokyo to them. Some serious stereotyping there. He was right, though.
年は
How old are ya?
24です。
24.
あ仕事は
Oh, what's your job?
学生ですよ。
I'm a student.
大学か。頭が良うても常識はないな。
College, eh? So you got a good head but no common sense. It's kind of funny here because I remember having this conversation with someone that common sense isn't really common in that thing. Like, it's hard for me to explain it or think of it, but it's not common knowledge or anything. It's just difference of shared views or things like that, I'd say. Yeah, I just drove on the road at night. That was so unfair. I wanted to talk back so badly.
なんで来た
So why are you here? He lowered his voice a bit. That was the main matter here, and how he treated me would change depending on my answer. What angle did I have to take? Okay, so I can't do that one, so I've got to do these two. So let's go ahead and try them in order, because I feel like this one's the correct one. So say you got lost.
バイク旅行中に道に迷いまして。
I went on a bike trip and lost my way. I just told him the truth. There's nothing shady about that, and telling him some cheap lies would only make him suspicious.
本当か
Really? He put on a threatening tone. I really wish he didn't stare at me like that. What did he expect me to fall for him?
本当ですよ。もう何時間も山の中を迷ってて、ようやく見つけたコンビニで、やっとここのことを知って。
Really, I'd been wandering around the mountains for hours before finding a convenience store. An employee told me about this place.
コンビニ進めたかここに来いと
A convenience store? They told you to come here? She hadn't told me to go to Kami Fujiyoshi, but she had told me about Yasumizu. I just tell the truth until the end.
なんか、山の中に地図にない集落があるとか言われて、そこはちょっとって言って、こっちを教えてもらったんです。
She told me about a settlement in the mountains that's not even on the map. I kindly refused, then she told me about
そ
here.
りゃ奇妙な話だな
That's strange.
あったんですかね、集落。
Is there a settlement like that?
あ知らん
Beats me. So he doesn't know about Yasumizu, huh? That was clearly an act. He looked away. Man, this guy was
あ
honest.
あわかった本当に何でもないんだな
Well, I get it. There's nothing special about you, huh? About you, huh?
ええ、
Yes.
そうかま こんな夜中に出歩いて、疑われるようなことはもうせんようにな。
I see. Well, you should stop going around at night and disturbing the peace like that. As far as I know, he wasn't disturbing the peace. So why would he say that? The only noise he was making was his motorcycle. I'd have appreciated an apology for treating me with so much suspicion, but I had more important things to talk about.
なのですみませんが、一晩泊めていただけないかと。
Anyway, would you mind if I spent the night here and...
道を教えてやろう。
Alright, I'll show you the way to the road. Huh?
いえ、もうヘトヘトでして。
But I'm so tired.
そう言っとる間は大丈夫だ。
If you can complain, you'll be just fine.
実はガソリンが。
My fuel is running
俺の
low.
原付の分けてやろう。
I'll give you some from my scooter. Oh my gosh. Is he gonna let him do that little thing that you see in movies where people siphon gas from other cars? Like, I'm thinking of Rat Race where they're doing that. And he's gonna just let him do that? That's just crazy.
気分が悪くなってきた。
I don't feel so good.
早く行った方がいいな。
Then you should hurry up and go.
何かあるんですか？
Is something going on
何
here?
もない。
Nope. He wasn't even looking into my eyes as he said that. He'd gotten on his scooter and saw me off until the crossroads. Man, what a great guy. I didn't expect him to go this far. Yeah, right. Why the hell did he want me out so badly? Well, at least the rain stopped. This was the only good thing about this. Was this some special time of the year when the presence of outsiders was bad? Was it worth chasing me out, even if it seemed unnatural? That seemed like a decent guess. Even if the mists hadn't shown up for decades now, if the legends were deeply rooted in local culture, there would still be related traditions alive. Or maybe he was sure something bad was gonna happen. Or was he on the side that make it happen? Did they have a means to create such a dense mist? Mists happened when the air cooled and the water vapor in the air couldn't stay gaseous. It was basically small water droplets. The mechanism by which they worked could easily be replicated in a lab. They even did it on educational TV. Though I found it hard to believe they could reproduce a scale vast enough to hide an entire settlement. They'd need some device that would no doubt be large and heavy, and it'd have to be in the Saranaga Rapids of all places. Though I'd only been to Saranaga when I couldn't see anything, either because it was at night or misty. If the mist was made by some huge machine there, by Kami Fujiyoshi people, I'd be really pissed to say the least. Though Takumi-san didn't say he'd had to pick up corpses from Saranaga. Even if it was forbidden ground, it wasn't likely they could just install a device like that there without anyone noticing. That was how it was in some novels, wasn't it? The corpse was there to begin with, but they just couldn't perceive it. I'd have liked to believe in something a tad more realistic. In the end, I had to keep going toward the area called Kachihara. Kachihara? Maybe I'd had to get to rest there. If I returned to the next day, the cop would surely snap at me. Would I even go back? The fatigue was getting the better of me. I knew it was a good idea to stop, but no, I actually didn't know if I didn't know it. I wasn't able to think straight. Mist? Now, was it artificial? No, that didn't make sense. My mind was hazy and I could no longer make sense of anything. Key 5 obtained key 5 Nice officer. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Bad ending number 8. Watch the hint corner. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do that.
やっちまったな大将。
Oh, you've done it now, eh, Chief?
ここはちょっと説明むずいな。
This one's kinda hard to explain.
今回のバッドエンド8、題して駐在のおっさんの不自然な親切で謎死についてだが、
Bad ending 8. Mysterious, suspiciously nice officer death.
今回キー5が手に入ってるだろ。それを使う場所を考えると、なんとなくわかるかもな。
You should have gotten key 5 from this. When you think about where it should be used, the rest should fall into
このキ
place.
ーの入手方法を考えつつ、4、潜入の9、尋問の回答はに戻ってみな。
Return to 4, infiltration and question interrogation answer as you think of how to obtain the remaining keys.
つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
And that's it for this time. Die another hearty death next time.
そういう夢だったってわけ。
Guess it was just a dream, right? Do better next time. Alright. Sometimes I kind of wish that they would just go back to the main menu when I get a bad end. But story-wise, it makes sense that they do it like that. Okay, so we do here. Okay, so there we go. It's over here.
で、なんで来た？
So why are you here? He lowered his voice a bit. That was the main matter here, and how he treated me would change depending on my answer. What angle did I have to take? Okay, so we got one of the keys down here, and we know that this gave us 5. So by process of elimination, and what they said, this should be the other key. So let's see what they go for here. Say you followed after your girlfriend. I had an idea.
その
Well,
なんだ？言え。
what? Say it.
心に決めた女性がこの辺りにいるって聞いて追ってきたんですよ。
I heard that the girl I dedicated my heart to lived somewhere around here, so I came looking for her. There, he acted like he didn't care, but he was definitely interested. Here in human society, love stories were a supreme form of entertainment and a good excuse for doing all sorts of weird things. You might be able to say that, but I don't. Because a lot of the times it might be because I haven't encountered too much, or maybe I've watched a lot of chick flicks because of my mom and sister growing up. But it just seems a bit generic. Like, it's kind of hard to do a good story in those, because if you're familiar with the setup and everything, even if you encounter a new story, it can feel generic even if it's not exactly like everything before it. Like, one manga series I've encountered was one called Love and Lies, I want to say, and just the first volume, it was so bad, because I knew that I was supposed to be rooting for these two characters at the beginning. I'm wanting them to go together, but the way it read in the beginning, it just like felt so generic, even though it's supposed to be a new story, and that's not what people want in any kind of story. Things can play out the same and such, and they can be predictable but good, but we need some kind of feeling like we're getting something new, even if it's not really new. And that's just hard to do in the love story angle. Anything was possible when a girl or guy was involved.
そりゃあ、そうは言うても、ここいらで東京行っとったもんがおったとは聞かんぞ。
Well, you say that, but no one here actually went to
いえ
Tokyo.
会ったのは別の場所で。
We met elsewhere. Oh?
あれは僕が鳥インフルエンザの後遺症で軽井沢に静養に行った時、
When I went to Kurizawa to recover from the after effects of the bird flu. And so I wove for him a dramatically majestic story of how I'd grown close to the woman I dedicated my life to. Well, since this is an emotional pill like most stories would be a lot of times regarding this kind of excuse, I would just throw Haruaki in the slammer right now. The cop was really into it. He looked like he didn't care at first, but by the time I got to the part where she had first invited me to her house, he displayed a childlike enthusiasm. Eventually we became true lovers, but she said she couldn't throw away her childhood home, which led to a tearful goodbye. Yeah. At that point, the cop was fully invested, and the girl returning back home.
それで君は都会を捨ててこっち来る決意をしたと。
So you threw away the city and came after her, eh? Oh. He smiled like he was about to pat me. I definitely captured his heart.
しかし、そんな若い娘おったか？
But was
なんつ
there
う子だ、君のフィアンセは。
But was there a girl like that here? What's your fiance's name? There it was. Everyone in rural areas knew each other, so trying to make up a person wouldn't get anywhere. But that wasn't a problem for me. I had the perfect name in mind.
芹沢千恵美って子です。
She's Chaimi Serizawa. Get out.
え？
Huh?
帰れ。今すぐ出てけ。すぐ。
Get out right now. He stood up and approached me so menacingly I felt like he was about to attack me. In the end, he jumped on his scooter and led me to some crossroads, clearly intent on getting me as far away from Fujiyoshi as possible. I was now heading toward the so-called Kachihara area. This is kind of strange, but his reaction to that name is even stranger. I'm like, what's Serizawa's role in all this, and how does he know her, kind of thing? Let's see. was now heading toward the so-called Kachihara area. The rain had already stopped, but it was tiring to drive along the still slick asphalt. I knew Jamie and Fujiyoshi were distant, to say the least, and since she'd been out of the village, they couldn't have known that she'd known what she'd been up to. I thought that'd make my story more believable, but what the hell was that reaction? The thing that set him off was Jamie's name. She told me she almost killed someone with a bat. Was her reputation that bad? Even if it was that the right reaction to make? You'd expect something like, I really think you shouldn't, and the like. Was it because she was from Yasumizu? That makes sense if they didn't want outsiders to know about Yasumizu. It makes sense for them to chase away anyone coming to meet her. But that only made them look more suspicious. Anyway, what now? Maybe I'd try coming back again after getting some rest at the nearest town. But from what I could tell, entering Yasumizu from Komi Fujiyoshi wouldn't be as easy as I first thought. The fatigue was getting the better of me. I knew it was a good idea to stop, but no, I actually didn't know it. I wasn't able to think straight. Mist? No. Was it artificial? No, that didn't make sense. My mind was hazy and I could no longer make sense of anything. Another crash, huh? Obtained key 6 taboo name. Can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the chart on the scenario chart. Bad ending number 9. Watch the end corner. No, because I'm fairly certain of what I need to do. Guess it was do better next time. Yep. Here we are again. Like I said, I kind of wish that they would implement the save scumming property, but it's also kind of understandable due to the looping nature of the story. Okay, so we have to do here. We chose our route. Okay. Questioning. Alright, so it's right here.
で、なんで来た?
So why are you here? He lowered his voice a bit. That was the main matter here, and how he treated me would change depending on my answer. What angle did I have to take? Alright, so I was right that we got them in that particular order, so do snap then.
何でもいいじゃないですか!
What's it to you, huh? Uh-huh.
ここは日本だ! 移動の自由がある! いつ何時どこにいようが僕の自由だろこら!
This is Japan. We're free to go wherever. I can be wherever I want, whenever I want. Damn it.
なんだ貴様おら!
The hell's up with you?
いい加減こっちは死に飽きてんだ! 戻ろうがなんだろうが死に戻ってきちゃうんだぞこら!
I'm tired of dying, damn it. I know I come back. Heck, but dying really hurts. Oh my gosh. He lost it. This really is Steins Gate kind of thing here.
ねこれはタコこら!
You damn punk.
この
ともダメなんだろう。おい今なんだ裸踊りでもしろってのか。いい趣味だな神様。
I know this route's a dead end too. What next then? You want me to dance naked? Some taste you've got there. God. Gosh. This is really great. Fourth wall breaking here too.
やれこれクソこれ。
I dare you to do it, you shit.
つべこべ言わずに止めさせろ。そんで自然な感じで休みずに入らせろ。うわー
Just shut up and let me stay here. Then let me go into Yasumizu and make it look normal. Ah!
いやーあれだした。なんだこいつ。もしもしもしもし。了解。射殺します。
Yeah, he went crazy. What the hell? Hello, hello. Alright, I'll shoot him. Gah! That was a good one. Just so funny. I think I should probably clip that. Or something, but nah, maybe not. I don't know right now. Maybe later. Let's see. Obtained key 7 Berserk. You can view it in the key list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Game over. Bad ending number 10. Watch the hint corner? Yes, we'll watch the hint corner this time.
やっちまったな大将。いや、やっちまったっていうか。
You've done it now, eh, Chief? I mean, yeah, you did, but
まあ、ヒントを一応言っとくか。
guess I should give a hint anyway. Ace?
今回のバッドエンド10、題して謎展開で射殺についてだが。
Bad ending number 10. Death by nonsensical turn of events. Oh my gosh.
まあ、ノリはともかく、警官に力押しはまずいってことで、一つ納得してやってくれ。
Well, mood aside, I hope you at least learn not to get violent with the police officers. Well, you kinda forced me into that.
今回、キー7が手に入ったってことで、ようやく駐在のおっさんを攻略する材料が揃ったことになるな。
Now that you've obtained key 7, you have all you need to get by that officer.
3個のキーで開く選択肢は、4、潜入の、9、入村方法は、だ。間違いないわよ。
The 3 keys unlock a new choice at 4, infiltration entering the village. Don't get it wrong, you hear?
つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に、死んでこい。
Well, that's enough for this time. Die another hearty death next time.
そういう夢だったってわけだ。
Guess it was just a dream, right?
うまく
Do better next time. Alright. Time to go to the next thing. But that ending was just so perfect. Let's see here. Alright. So this is the one that I need to do. I drove in darkness, but I could still make out a sign above me. The road wasn't wide, but I decelerated and somehow managed to U-turn. There were no other cars, so no one would complain. I returned and looked at the sign. It said that driving ahead would have led me to Kachihara, while by turning right, I'd find myself in
ようや
Fujiyoshi.
くか。
Finally. It was already past midnight, but actually earlier than I thought. A 30-minute drive from this point would lead me to Fujiyoshi, or rather Kami Fujiyoshi, the place that wasn't too popular among Yasumizu's people. Alright. What the? Drink the booze? Why would this get me anywhere? But let's see what's gonna go on. Because I don't want alcohol. I stopped my bike. Then I flipped out the kickstand and locked it in place. After opening up the toolbox under the seat, I hid my license, ID, and business card, anything relating to me, basically inside it. Kami Fujiyoshi was just ahead. If I came in like that, the officer would surely catch me and chase me away. I had to find another way to convince that old man to let me stay. I reached into the bag of stuff I'd bought in the convenience store and took something out. It was a cup of refined sake. I quickly gulped it down. It's so bad. Cheaper not just chugging sake was... Sake like this was plain disrespectful. No trying this at home, kids. Not that kids could drink anyway. Technically, they can, but it's not legal, and I don't condone it. The underage drinking, at least. Unfortunately, my life and fate and whatever were on the line here. Next cup. Third cup. 4. What the? Are you trying to off yourself? Huh?
なんだよおい兄ちゃん、酔っ払いか？いいねえ面だな。
What the hell are you drunk? Never seen you here before.
そうっすな。そうっすな。
Yep.
酒くせえ。どっから来た？こんな夜中によ。
Oh, you reek. Where are you from? Why are you out here so late?
そうっすな。
Yeah.
ああ、もう分かった。とりあえず駐在所来い。
Alright, just come with me. Yeah, I realized this. And this man always, he let me go as long as I was good for trying in driving. Then it was best to just not talk at all and come all drunk. Yeah.
やひゃーやひゃー
Wahoo! Woohoo!
うるせえなバカ。近所迷惑だ。
Shut up, dumbass. You're disturbing the neighbors. We weren't disturbing them before, and yet you forced us down this road? Yeah. Where was I? Whoa, wow, my head back, I hurt all over. Tommy in a blanket, so he really let me spend the night here, just as I planned. The officer was actually a nice guy. Not like I couldn't tell, he was just rough and simple. Basically, the way to get around him was to get him to think there was nothing more to me than met the eye.
おう、兄ちゃん。起きたか。ちょっと話聞かせてもらうぞ。
Oh, you awake? Let's talk for a bit. Sure, let's talk. You sent me to my death 3 times, and one of those was a direct cause. The other 2 were indirect, because you led me out there, and I thought you were gonna do the deed twice. Alright, it was time.
要するに、
So let me get this straight.
金もねえ、仕事も見つからねえ、部屋は追ん出されて、女にも逃げられて、親御さんももういねえ。
You've got no money, can't find a job, got chased from your apartment, left by your girl, and your parents are already gone.
山入って死のうとして酒かっくらったが、死にきれなかったっつんだな。
You came to the mountains to drink yourself stupid and die, but couldn't finish the job, huh?
はい。
Yes.
東京っつうのは地獄だな。
Tokyo's hell, isn't it? Yes. After I spent an hour lying about myself, the officer looked at me with a sympathetic expression.
そんなチャラチャラした格好とかせずに、もっと真面目にすりゃよかったのかもしれねえかな。
If you ask me, you should try to look more proper than that. And when we did, you just unalived us 3 times.
はい。反省してます。
Yes, I'll think about it. Basically, I didn't talk unless prompted, nor did I argue with him. This guy was definitely good-natured, but he was also rough around the edges, chatty and a bit preachy. In this case, I just kind of let him set the pace. I was about to ask him something outrageous after all. I needed to be completely on board with his story. The front door was made of glass, and when people passed me on the farm road in front, they all gave me funny looks. It was early morning, but the people of Kami Fujiyoshi were already aware of and concerned about my presence, an outsider.
死ぬのは良くないわな。
Well, dying ain't good.
酔ってても、怖くて。
Yes, I was too scared to die even when drunk.
あんまそんな感じに見えなかったけどよ。
Didn't seem that way.
死ぬほど怖いと、笑うしかないんですね。
Sometimes you're so scared you can't help but laugh.
そんなもんかもしれんな。そんで、これからどうすんだ？
That's so. Well, what do you want to do now? I paused to make it seem like I was
起
hesitating.
きたいです。でも、もう行くところが。
I want to make a fresh start, but I've got nowhere to go. I faked some tears and quivered as I spoke.
宮崎に嫁の実家があっからよ。小さい工場だが、やってみっか。
My wife's from Miyazaki. They got a small workshop there. Want to give that a try? Huh?
奥さん、九州の方なんですか？
Your wife is from
そう
Kyushu?
よ。我慢強いいい女だ。
Yeah, she's a tough
それは
woman.
またどういうご縁で？
How did you meet
そ
her?
れがよ、俺がまだ20歳の頃。
Well, when I was still 20. And so he began his grandiose hour-long talk about his youthful romance. The words karma and a curse rebound came to mind. Apparently, he wasn't a Fujiyoshi inhabitant at the start. He and his wife were only living here in the sticks because he was the local officer. It was then the head said wife, a plump and pleasant woman, came out and served us tea, so they really were living here. Eventually, they got so lovey-dovey it was hard for me to talk. I instead considered what to do next. I mean, this made it really hard for me to say I wanted to make a fresh start here in Fujiyoshi. Even his wife suggested I went to work for a family back in Kyushu. Such nice people, exactly the type that gets swindled. Funny that he says that, because a lot of Mormons do have like a reputation for getting tricked into MLMs and that. And I know that they're not, but that's what the reputation
いい
is.
ですね。自然がいっぱいあって、なんか落ち着くっていうか。
That sounds great, but this place is nice too, isn't it? There's a lot of nature. I think I could take it easy here.
あら、不便なだけよ。それにうちの周りも山だらけだし。
Oh, but it's so inconvenient. It's all surrounded by mountains. The officer's wife's complaint is kind of funny here because it reminded me of something. I visited like the town where my mother grew up with her, and I didn't like it all that much because it was boring. Like, I wasn't really close to my relatives on her side, and from what I saw, there was practically nothing around even when I used the resources that I've got. Because when I was using the resources I have to find things, like the internet and such, I was like, you're kidding me. I have to go to a different state or hundreds of miles out to find what I want. Why would I want to be here? Especially when no one's walking around. So that's kind of what this is reminding me of.
なんとなく、予感っていうか、ここに引き寄せられてきた気がするんです。ここに出会いがあるかみたいな。
I have a feeling like I was brought here for a purpose, like maybe I'd meet someone.
そうね。そうね。あたしらと縁ができたものね。
Well, you did. You met us, didn't you? I don't really get what your angle is here, but I suspect that you're gonna do something. Damn, she was a tough one.
こんな優しくされたの初めてですよ。
This is the first time anyone has been so nice to me.
あらあらあら。まあまあ、泣かないで。
Oh dear. Please don't cry.
僕、お二人に恩返ししたいです。この辺で働き口とかないでしょうか？
I want to pay you back. Can I work somewhere in this village? I got to the heart of the matter, but the guy didn't look enthusiastic. His wife left the room, leaving behind the two of us in an awkward silence. I don't think you should. Oh.
いや、こんな村、老人ばっかだし、特産物もねえしな。まあ、手伝いくらいならあるかもしれねえが。
I mean, this place is full of old people, and it's not like we have any local exports or anything. The most you can expect is odd jobs, but him speaking of odd jobs just reminds me of how funny the Trails series is. I like the Trails series, a lot of RPGs, but what's so funny about it is in each arc, you're pretty much a person that does odd jobs. And where it gets funny is the first Trails arc, which is the Sky Trilogy. You literally are in a job where all you do is odd jobs. And so it's like, okay, it makes sense. You're exploring around, learning about things. And then the next arc, you have this guy's position right here as a police officer, more so a police detective, but still part of the police. And he's assigned to a division that just does odd jobs. And then the arc after that, you're a student in the first half of a military school that does odd jobs. And then class in a military school that does odd jobs. Second half, you're a teacher in a military school teaching a class that does odd jobs. And then the arc after that, it's back to having a profession that does odd jobs in the capacity that the first arc, the Sky trilogy was. And it's like so funny in that regard. But who knows what he has to say here.
それで構いません。お金はいりません。
That's good enough for me. I don't even need any money.
そうは言っても、ちょっと行けば街があるからよ。
That's great and all, but there's a town not far from here. So he's gonna mention Yasumizu finally, huh?
ここで働きたいんです。
I want to work here.
いや、なんだ
Well, how do I put it?
ちょっとばかり、ここの連中は変わってっからな。
The people here are a bit strange, you see. He went and said it. Listening to his story had made me guess that he wasn't under Fujiyoshi's sway to the degree others were. They'd lived here for 20 years, but in some small ways, they were still outsiders. The bitterness in his expression was more than enough to give me that impression. Strange.
ああ、いや、なんでもね。まあ、悪いことは言わん。なんか、別の方法を。
Forget I said that. Anyway, don't take this the wrong way, but you should find some other. Suddenly I heard a sound coming from the outside. It was a town broadcast. This is new. Some speakers somewhere in the village were playing some unclear music, and it was...
ああ、驚いたか。7時の合図だ。
Oh, that surprised you. It's the sign that it's 7 o'clock. So normal clock, huh? Yeah, I had heard this music back in Yasumizu. It's both a children's song and a playground singing game. Chiemi said it was called Prayer to Shinai. So it's a song revering Great Lord Shinai. But from what I remembered, it was about the Feast of the Omi Purge.
珍しい曲ですね。
That's a strange melody.
ああ、なんつったかな。この村に昔からある曲なんだってよ。
I forget what it's called. It's been around here for generations. So the village as a whole had inherited it. There wasn't anything strange about that, really. Even if its roots were in a cruel legend, the passage of time would eventually erode said legend's significance. Just introduce something like a wolf bowling festival, and it would be nothing more than a decent song to serve as a morning alarm for the villagers. But that was only true if the legend's meaning had been forgotten. What happened next was shocking even to someone who had their suspicions about the nature of this place. One by one, people started coming out of their homes, forming a crowd. The road before the office was full of people traveling from right to left, Where had this many people even come from? I couldn't get any good looks at their expressions, but they were all hanging their heads despondently. Were they just tired?
何事です？
What's going on?
水場に向かってんだ。
They're going to the watering hole.
水場？
Watering hole?
飯屋のことよ。ここの連中はみんな3食飯屋で食うから。
The Erie, everyone eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. That was it.
変わってますね。
That's a bit weird.
ああ。なんでも昔、山を焼くとかで火を使っちゃならんという話があって、それに隠れて火を焚いたのが水場らしい。
Yeah, it's got something to do with there being a ban on using fire because it could burn the mountain, so the watering hole did it in secret.
だから今でも、自宅では皆飯を作らんで、水場で飯を食う。そんで、樋口んところが皆の胃袋を握って、
That's why everyone here eats at the watering hole instead of their homes. Meal times are dictated by the Higuchi, so... The Higuchi? So we're gonna learn more about them already? That's interesting.
うちがどうかしましたか？
What about us? The door suddenly opened up and I heard a soft voice I didn't recognize. Surprised, the officer and I turned around. It was a man in a suit, average build. His face was round and he looked a bit shy of middle-aged.
なんでもねえですよ、樋口さん。
It's nothing, Higuchi-san. And it turned out he was a member of one of the 4 family heads here, the Higuchi. That was the family Kaori Oribe had married into. But when her husband and the family's head died, she was sent to Yasumizu. That means this man was related to Yasunaga-kun and Yoshisugu-kun. I couldn't see a resemblance. I was definitely intrigued though. Fujiyoshi had a tradition of using the watering hole to feed themselves, and if the Higuchi family was in charge of it, that gave them an influential position. People needed food to stay alive, and if they didn't have any way to cook, they wouldn't even consider making food for themselves. I could only imagine the power a family could have if it was in charge of all the local food and drink. Kaori Oribe-san was in charge of a dining hall too. Her relation to the Higuchi probably had something to do with that. Perhaps she'd been sent there to fill that role? But if that was the case, the idea that Yasumizu had been completely abandoned wasn't true at all. It'd mean that Kami Fujiyoshi was actually controlling what went on there.
みんなが噂していましたよ。こちらは？
Everyone was talking about this person. Who is he? Wait, word is traveling quite fast. Like, they're a small town, so that shouldn't be too surprising, but he just got there like last night. How would so many people know about him already?
ああ、妻子っちゅうもんです。何やらいろいろ苦労して、死のうってここいらまで流れてきたと。
Name's Fusaishi. Kid went through some bad stuff, wandered here wanting to die.
それはさぞご苦労されたのでしょう。
That sounds quite awful. Gucci gave me a genuinely sympathetic smile.
それにしても、ちょっとどうかしていました。皆さんにご迷惑をかけてしまって。
No need for that. I think I wasn't in the right mind. Sorry for the bother.
まあ、そりゃいいが。
Well, that's all fine and
なる
good.
ほど。申し遅れましたが、樋口昌司と申します。藤吉村の、まあ、雑用みたいなことをしてますよ。
I see. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Shoji Higuchi. I am in charge of the odd jobs around here.
どうも、久石春明です。
Pleased to meet you. I am Haruaki
大
Fusaishi.
柄な方ですね。イケメンですね。
You are quite stylish. A hunk, as they say. Again, how does he already know about this guy?
いや、そんな。
I wouldn't say
ど
so.
んな話だったのか伺ってもよろしいです？
May I ask what you were thinking
うち
about?
はこれから飯にするんで、後にしてもらえねえですかね。
We're about to eat. Can't you leave it for later?
そうか。いつもご自宅で炊事をされてるんでしたね。
I forgot you always.
そうだ。
I forgot you always make your own food. Oh,
サイ
but
シさんはご朝食まだでしょ？なんならこれから一緒にいかがです？うちの実家の飯屋でね。
have you had breakfast at Fusaishi-san? Care to join us? My family runs an eatery. We can treat you. Well, what's your angle here, pal? We know you're one of the family heads, and you sent a single mother and her 2 children to live in an ostracized settlement. So, do you plan to do something here to us?
ついでに差し支えなければ、いろいろお話でも聞けたらと。何？これでも一応、世話役みたいなこともしておりまして。
It might also be a good chance to talk. Don't worry, looking after Fujiyoshi is part of my role.
藤吉村で起きてることは、なんだって聞いておきたいたちなもんで。
I'd like to know everything there is to know about what's happening here. You do, huh? Even though you're part of the big families? I don't trust you. He looked gentle and easy to get along with, but also someone I had to watch my step around. He just walked right up to the local police officer and asked him for information like it was a casual request. It was clear who was in charge here. I gave the officer a glance out of the corner of my eye, but he'd stopped talking. I felt the conversation I had with him could have led me to sharing breakfast with him and his wife. But he hadn't said anything about Shoji Higuchi inviting me. It was like he was telling me to accept it. Or perhaps there was just no point in trying to
大丈夫で
refuse.
すか？
May I? Even so, I did ask for his
だ
permission.
から、一応戻してもらってもいいですかね。
Can I have him after breakfast? But the officer didn't even want to talk to me anymore.
まだ聞きたいこともありますんでね。
There's still some things I'd like to ask him. Perhaps Fujiyoshi was a place where in his presence you couldn't even have a conversation without him involved.
もちろんですよ。
Yes, of course. Anyway, it was decided. The sky was clear. The eatery was split into several buildings around the village. From what Higuchi had told me, Fujiyoshi had a population of about 1,000 people. It was pretty small for an autonomous region, but it was still enough to make eating in one building impossible. We went into one of them. It was crowded, but upon seeing us, the villagers stepped aside as if this was all planned. Apparently, everyone here did what they could to accommodate Higuchi. Also, everyone was staring at me like I was an alien or something, but it felt like Higuchi's presence discouraged them from staring too long. That attitude aside, everyone here looked pretty normal. Your usual Japanese people, the lethargy from before was nowhere to be seen. Maybe they just looked lethargic because it was early morning. Most looked like they were farmers, but I could also see some students in uniforms bearing the same design as the ones worn by the students in Yasumizu. The building itself was an aged wooden structure, but it was a whole lot bigger than the one in Yasumizu and looked way sturdier too. The interior wasn't too pretty, but it was spacious. You grabbed a tray right after walking in, then got tea and rice bowls or whatever from the ladies in aprons. It felt like a high school cafeteria, but you couldn't choose what you wanted. You could refuse what you didn't want, though.
ああ、こちら僕が面倒見るから。
Oh, I'll look after him, don't worry. He spoke to the elderly women one after another and made them stop staring at me with suspicion. Then we took our trays and without paying anything, apparently they had something like union dues for that. How effective, walked away. Parting the crowd, we searched for a place to sit
と
down.
手狭ですが、まあしっかり食ってください。
It's a bit cramped in here, but please do eat. I really appreciated getting to eat a normal meal. Lots of rice miso soup, the one with vegetables and boiled beans. I thought it was vegetarian at first, but then then felt something meaty inside.
騎士ですよ。不慣れでしょうが、そんなに癖はないでしょう。
It's shishi, not used to it. It doesn't taste that strange, does it?
獅子イノシシですか？
Shishi like inoshishi. Boar?
ああいえ、この辺では鹿やらイノシシやら肉は全部まとめて獅子です。
Not specifically in here. Deer, boar, all the wild meat is called shishi.
そういえば昔は肉と書いて獅子と読ませてたみたいですね。
Oh yeah, I heard that shishi once used to be the Japanese reading for meat before it became niku.
よくご存知ですね。この辺じゃ昔から狩猟が盛んで、今でもこうして取れたらちょっとずつみんなで分け合うんですよ。
I'm surprised you know that. The people of this area have been hunting for a long time, and even now the hunters share what they catch, like they did with this. I hadn't thought I'd ever eat wild game in some communal eatery, lucky me. Though the taste was kind of bland overall. I could detect some soy sauce on the vegetables while the boiled beans were kind of sweet. The soup stock too made me think they used the minimal amount of flavoring. The miso soup didn't really seem like miso soup. It was more like a stew, probably because shishi wasn't the only thing they used for the stock. I tasted more of it and realized that the overboiled meat still had a sort of beastly texture and smell about it. I couldn't call it good, but it was a unique local meal not everyone had the chance to eat. I was grateful for the experience. The eatery was still crowded as the people came and went, but Higuchi-shi didn't seem bothered as we talked. I kept up with him during the conversation, repeating the same lies I told to the officer and making sure to look as much a poor, unfortunate soul as I could. He smiled all the way through, even as he interjected now and again. I felt like he was at least 100 times craftier than the officer, and I wondered if it was my inner contrarian speaking. After that, Higuchi-shi and I returned to the officer's post, but
久石さんには藤吉に移住してもらってはいかがでしょうね。
what would you say to Fusaishi-san moving to Fujiyoshi? It was what I wanted to hear, but I couldn't let it show on my face. While the officer was against it, he didn't intend to argue too strongly. He and Higuchi-shi discussed some things, but it seemed like Higuchi-shi already knew how he'd treat me, and it didn't look like the officer's take mattered to him. After a few exchanges, the officer caved and it was my turn to speak.
妻子さんも、それでいいですね。
You're okay with this too, aren't you, Fusaishi-san? Now that was a smile I couldn't say no to even if I wanted to. Well, it really did seem like the heads of Kami Fujiyoshi were a twisted bunch.
ええ。渡りに船です。
Yes, this opportunity is godsend for
す
me.
ぐ住んでもらえそうなのが、とりあえずは、ちょっと離れた場所になっちゃいますがね。
You can settle in right away, but it's going to be a place a short distance from here. Are we gonna go where we want to go? Was he serious?
構いませんよ。どういうところです？
I don't know to mind. What kind of place is it?
まあまあ、追って説明しますよ。ああ、そういえば、そっちに行く人たちがいたような気がするな。
I'll tell you more in a moment. Oh, that reminds me. We had some people already headed there. Those two,
一緒
huh?
に行ってもらいましょ
We'll ask them to take you there. There's no mistaking it. He smiled like he was harmless while forcing me into the settlement for the ostracized.
手続きとかは？
So, do I have to sign
う。
anything?
転入転出とかは、とりあえず後回しで何とかしましょう。東京には知り合いがいますから、代理で何とかなるでしょう。
We can take care of that later. I know someone in Tokyo. He can act as a proxy for
と
that.
にもかくにも、まずは住むところですね。駐在所にずっと泊めてもらうのじゃ、迷惑でしょうからね。
Anyway, we must start with your place of residence. You'd be bothered if you stayed in the officer's post after all.
私はそっち方面に行く人たちに、ちょっと話を通してきますよ。
I'll talk to the ones going.
彼らも町の人らですから、心配しないで。
I'll talk to the ones going there. Don't worry. They're from the city too.
ああ、下の連中にも一報しなきゃな。ちょっとバタバタしそうだけど、昼までにはどうにかなるでしょう。
Oh, we'll have to tell the locals about you too. I'll be quite busy, but I'm sure I can get it all done by
それじ
lunch.
ゃ、一旦ここで。
Anyway, goodbye for now. He one-sidedly ended the conversation and left the
いい
post.
人ですね。
Nice guy. Nice guy. He'd be probably a guy that would end up dead on a crime fiction show or story. Because he just has that air about him. On the surface, anyway.
まあ、
Yeah. The officer understood the situation and didn't like it, but couldn't go against one of the heads. This is probably why Chain said we couldn't trust the police. In Fujiyoshi, even government institutions were only a secondary authority. Anyway, what could I make of this? I did actually expect to be sent to Yasumizu. The people here had no interest in harboring outsiders. We weren't welcome. Or maybe they wanted to avoid the initial trouble caused by my immigration by making me live with the ostracized until I got used to the village. Whatever the case, this wasn't something I had a say in, which made it seem really bad. That was probably why the officer was so against it. I could understand that. Iguchi-shi, on the other hand, seemed a bit heavy-handed with all this. I could understand him wanting to set me up with a place quickly, but as someone who knew about the feast, I couldn't help but be suspicious of the timing. The mists would come this evening, and he wanted to give Yasumizu a new inhabitant until then. Did Higuchi-shi, ahead of Kami Fujiyoshi, understand what that meant?
ちなみに読んだことない？本書9個の記事。
Have you ever read Kyoko Hosei's articles?
すみません。
Sorry. I went through a highly familiar exchange and finished my introduction to Hisako Mamiya a second time.
どうも、お世話になります。
Hello, it's nice to meet you. Hello. He was as hard to deal with as always. Higuchi worked fast, thorough too. He'd gotten back to me before noon, and before I knew it, I was greeting the ones who'd lead me to my place. Just as I had expected, they were the
井口
journalists.
さんはもう安水の方に連絡されたってことらしいけど、草石さんはもう大丈夫なのかしら。
Higuchi-san said that he already contacted the people in Yasumizu. What about you? Are you ready?
ええ。むしろそちらは大丈夫ですか？
Yes, I'm more worried about you, in fact. Is that because we know that she's not gonna make it?
もちろん、お昼に間に合うならお腹空かせて苦しまなくていいしね。
Oh, we're alright. If we can get there at noon, we won't have to stay hungry for long.
先方の都合でもっと遅く訪問される予定だったんですね。
I see, so you intended to come later for their
そう
convenience?
そう。向こうの人たちの昼食時を回避した方がいいって話でね。
Yes, he said we should avoid coming when the people there are
こっ
eating.
ちとしては皆さんの普通の食事風景を取材したいから、その点でもラッキーってとこかしら。
Honestly, I wanted to cover their eating environment, so this is a bit of a stroke of luck. Oh, so this probably also had something to do with the people of Fujiyoshi not wanting to show their daily lives to outsiders. They could have just refused them completely, though. Did the journalists have connections that made them impossible to refuse, or did they want to show what a developed settlement it was? Or maybe they had no intention of letting them go. Unlikely. If they killed anyone from Yasumizu, or some nobody like me, they could easily conceal it due to how isolated the location was. But the two journalists had come here to make an article. If something were to happen to them, it'd be certain to draw unwanted attention to the village. On the other hand, if Kami Fujiyoshi's people knew that the feast was near, they probably wouldn't have allowed them here.
そんなわけでもう出ちゃおうかと思いますけど、橋本さんどうです？
I think we should head over now. What do you think, Hashimoto-san?
いいと思う。
Fine. Whoa, he was slow, but he actually communicated with someone. That was rare.
それじゃあ、お手数ですがよろしくお願いします。
So, sorry for the bother and thank you for having me.
いえいえ。
No worries. That was the first exchange I'd shared with him in this life anyway.
もちろん。じゃあ乗って乗って。
Of course, now get in. The van started slowly traveling down the thin paved road between the farms. Come to think of it, May was rice planting season. The field had water all over it and didn't display a single weed. It was full of people planting rice seedlings by
機
hand.
械でやってないんですね。
They're not using
そのよう
machines.
ね。ここの人たちはみんなあんまり新しいものは好きじゃないみたい。
Looks like it, the people here don't seem to like modern
ワン
technology.
やらトラクターやらがそんなに新しいとも思わないですが、逆によく手作業で回りますね。
Combines and tractors aren't that new. If you ask me, I'm impressed they're doing such a good job by hand.
回ってないと思うわ。だから今はメーカーの人たちが中心になって重機を導入しようとはしてるらしいけど。
I'm not sure they are. That's why the big families here are trying to get heavy machinery for the
な
job.
るほど。樋口さんとかです。
I see, like Higuchi-san?
農業改革の方は荷車さんという方たちが担当しているって聞いたわ。
I heard that the Migurama were in charge of farming
なる
developments.
ほど。ちゃんとお金はあるんだ。
I see, so they have money, huh?
そうみたいね。どういうからくりかはわからないけど。
Seems so. Not quite sure how that works.
からくりって？
Something has to work here.
いや、まあそのね。
Well, how do I put
基
this?
本的に外からの収入が出稼ぎのみで、高齢化で人が減ってる産地の町村にしてはメーカさんはお金持ってるなって。
What I mean to say is the big families are strangely rich for a mountain village with an aging populace where the young go work
そうなん
outside.
ですか。
Really?
ええ、荷車さん家とっても大きかったわよ。大きな会社も泊まってたし。
Yes, the Migurama house was really big. They even had a large foreign car. Yeah, even if it was something that could easily be explained, it was still something to keep in mind. Q-chan. Yes. The strange nickname Hashimoto-san used surprised me, but Mamiya-san herself didn't seem
あ
bothered.
んまり憶測は良くないね。
You shouldn't make too many assumptions.
ですけど、
But
記者魂が騒ぐかい？
the journalist within you is curious.
そんな偉いもんじゃないですけど。
It's nothing that big.
今回はこのまま流すのがいいよ。
I think you should just leave it at
そ
that.
れは名写真家の勘です。
Is that your famous photographer intuition talking?
かな。
Who knows?
わかりました。専門外ですしね。
Well, alright, this isn't my specialty anyway.
というわけで、さっきのは忘れて。
Anyway, forget what I said.
え
Yes. No.
ちなみに、あなたはこっちへ移住するって聞いたけど、
By the way, I heard you're moving
え、わかり
here.
ました。
That's how it turned
こ
out.
れから行く場所については聞いてる？
Have you heard about the place you're going to?
聞いてませんけど、大体想像はつきますね。
I didn't, but I can imagine what it's like. My words made her give me a strange
と
look.
いうと、
As
多
in,
分あんまり居住条件が良くないところでしょう。こっちのメインの集落とは切り離された感じの。
it probably isn't a good place to live in it, being separate from the main settlement and
なんで
all.
そう思うの？
Why do you think that? Because because bodies are gonna be dropping everywhere soon.
みんな僕の処遇について奥歯に物が挟まったような物言いですし、
Few people looked comfortable about how I'd be treated.
さんがただの親切な人ってより後ろめたいことを平然とできるような人に見えたからですかね。
While Higuchi-san looked less like a nice guy and more like someone who could easily shrug off any guilt his actions would cause him.
そうか。
I see.
僕にはお構いなく、僕はそれでもここに住めるなら満足なんです。
Don't mind me though, I'm satisfied with where I'm going.
余計なお世話かもしれないけど、本当にかなり偏僻なところよ。田舎への憧れだけじゃ耐えられないかも。
Maybe I shouldn't say anything, but it's a really isolated place. I don't know if loving the countryside is enough to bear
大
it.
丈夫ですよ。死ぬのに比べたらどんなところでも天国です。
Don't worry,
で
compared
すが
don't worry, compared to dying any place is heaven. Wait, that must sound strange. Ah. What an awkward laugh. Apparently they'd been told I'd almost committed
とい
suicide.
うわけで一応聞いておきたいんですが、どういう場所なんです？
I'm curious though, what kind of place is it?
特別な地区。
It's special.
ゆうちゃん。
Q-chan. She tried choosing her words carefully, but that made it sound worse than just a place for the ostracized. Hashimoto Shi seemed to be warning her, but she continued talking anyway.
私もまだわからないけど、意図的にその理不尽な境遇に置かれた人たちが住まわされてて。
I still don't know much, but it's full of people who are unfairly forced to live
上
there.
富士吉。この辺りの人たちからはあまりよく言われてない。その場所も人もね。
Both the place and the people living there aren't regarded highly here in
情
Kamifujiyoshi.
報は軽々に漏らしちゃダメ。
Think before you go leaking information. What? Leaking information? What do you know, you die?
相手を選んでます。何も知らされずに住まわされる人が 本来知ってしかるべき公正な情報提供ですよ。
I pick and choose who I'm saying this to. This is something a person who is moving there should know. It's only fair.
それでも彼に事前に言っておくべきだね。
There's something you should say before that, though.
そうですね。すみません。久石さん、これオフレコで。
Right, sorry, Fusaishi-san. Please keep this off the record. Off the record? He didn't even say he was a reporter or anything, so why say that?
ええ、向こうの人にも言いません。
Sure, I won't say a word to the people
そ
there.
の上で大丈夫？考え直すなら今日ここを帰るときに一緒に。あ、橋本さんどうでしょうか？
With that in mind, are you sure you can still go back with us if you change your mind after seeing that? After seeing it, you wouldn't mind, would you, Hashimoto-san?
彼が望むなら考える。
I'll think about if that's what he wants.
久石さん、一緒に出ていく気は？
Fusaishi-san, do you want to leave with us? The two had an interesting relationship. Mamamiya-san did all the talking, but Hashimoto-san seemed to outrank her. Hell, though he didn't speak much, everything he said was really well constructed, made sense, so to speak. While Mamiya-san often became overly excited, Hashimoto-san was strangely stable, not just in terms of appearance. Wait, this is no time to scrutinize my traveling
いいんで
companions.
す。もう町には帰る気はないですから。でも、お気遣いはありがとうございます。
No, I don't feel like going back to the city anymore. Thank you for the consideration,
で
though.
も、
But
間宮さんは多分、都会人と地方人って視点で気遣ってくれてるんだと思いますけど、僕も十分うさんくさいですからね。
Mamiya-san, you're probably saying this as a fellow city dweller, but you realize I'm a pretty shitty character myself, right?
何かしら便宜を図ってくれただけで、十分にありがたいと思うんですよ。
I'm just grateful for your help. That's more than enough.
そう。なら何も言わないわ。
I see that I won't say anything more.
最初、春明くんだっ
Haruaki Fusaishi-kun, was it?
なんでしょう。
け？
Yes.
行き詰まりそうな人には見えないけどな。
You really don't look like a guy at the end of his rope. Ah, very observant
ヘラ
here.
ヘラしてるからよくそう言われます。
I get that a lot. Must be my carefree attitude.
失礼したね。
I see, I'm sorry.
私、中学の時の同級生が一人自殺してるんですけど、いっつも能天気でみんなまさか彼だけはって思いましたよ。
You know, one of my classmates in middle school committed suicide. He was always so carefree that we couldn't believe he'd done something like that.
こういうものかもね。
Guess that's the way it is sometimes. I might have said too much. Recalling the scene of the officer's post, I tried to get back into the character of the poor suicidal man. The van slowly ambled onward. We approached a slightly more open space. It seemed to be the center of the village, and it looked like there were small shops there. But as we went on, it started to become even more desolate, and you could see more and more trees growing between the buildings. If that was where Kami Fujiyoshi ended, it was only about 3 kilometers across. If it was about 10 square kilometers in size, it had 100 people for every one of them. The stones I'd seen back in Yasumizu were nowhere in sight. Apparently, they really were Yasumizu exclusive. I could see a larger building nearby, and Mamiya-san told me it was the branch school from some nearby town. All students in Fujiyoshi must get their education there before moving on to help in the fields. The smarter ones left to work outside the village upon graduating high school. Those who went from here to college were rare, meaning that at least relative to other locals, Chiemi was a prodigy. The students from Yasumizu should have been in school this time of day. Once we passed the last residence, we entered an area mostly untouched by human hands. The road led us into the overgrown mountains. There were large stones on each side of the
象
road.
徴的でしょ。鳥居みたい。
Impressive, huh? They're like tories.
鳥居ですか。
Tories?
神の使えたる鳥の宿り木、もしくは聖域と至る結界の入り口。富士吉では山岳信仰があるみたいね。
Yes, trees inhabited by the birds serving the gods, or a gateway through with sacred boundary. Fujiyoshi worships the mountain, apparently.
神内明神。
Oh, great Lord Shinai. You know about it? Crap.
樋口さんから軽く聞いたんです。
Higuchi-san told me a few things. Sure. We found that out the last route, though.
でもこの村の外ではあんまり聞かないのよね。この山が特別だって話。神内っていう神格も聞いたことないし。
Anyway, you don't really hear that this mountain is special outside this village, do you? I've never even heard of the god Shinai.
字面からすると猿関係なのかな。でも神を猿に振り分けるのは単に暦と方角の話よね。
Going by the kanji, it sounds like it's a monkey god of some sort, but that one is usually used in calendars and directions.
間宮さんってフードライターじゃなかったんです？
Hold on, guys. I feel like I need a break for a drink at least, maybe the bathroom, but a drink for sure. While I'm gone, if you guys haven't had the chance to do so yet, be sure to answer today's question of the day. If you don't see it, the command in the title of the stream while I'm live should bring it up for you, and I will check on that when I get back. And if not, just go ahead and allow yourselves to have a bathroom break and a drink like me. With that, I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let me check on chat. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, nothing there. And nothing here, miss it. Alright, so we can get on with things. Okay, weren't your articles about food?
あ、失礼。もともとはオカルトライターをやってたの。全然食べてけなくてすぐ転校したけどね。
Sorry, I used to write about the cult. Quickly switched topics because it wasn't keeping food on the table. She looked like your typical neat and fashionable career woman, so this was really
そうなんで
unexpected.
すか。面白そうですけど。
Really, it sounds interesting
今の
though.
時代、うさんくさい情報を読みたい人はみんなネットを見るからね。
In this day and age, anyone who wants to read that kind of stuff just uses the
紙に
internet.
書かれた怪奇情報はみんな嘘で、本当の怪奇情報はネット。そんな住み分けになっちゃったみたい。
Everything in magazines is a lie, and all the real occult info is on the net. That's the general opinion of people into the cult these days.
残ったわずかなパイはみんな重鎮の先生方に取られちゃうからね。新人にはきつい世界だったかな。
The piece of the pie that's still around was taken by the leading writers. We newbies didn't have a chance. Now that she'd mentioned it, I hadn't seen as many magazines on the occult and the supernatural these days. No idea if that was a good thing, though. The car passed a large boulder.
道が悪くなるから気をつけて。
The road is about to get bumpy. Be careful.
はい。
Alright. The moment he said that, the car jumped, scaring the crap out of me. If those stones were the mountain's boundary, we were now on Great Lord Shinai's turf. Beyond it, we need to find Yasumizu and Saranaga. The entrance to Yomi was beyond the sacred ground, and this religion just kept getting weirder and weirder. Eventually, the pavement ended and we were on a gravel road. The grove of trees became a dark forest. It was cloudy, so there wasn't much light to begin with, which only made this place extra creepy. I composed myself. After all, the real creepiness was at the end of this road. We weren't saying a word anymore, and I thought about mundane stuff like the convenience of cars. We went down on the side of the mountain for about 20 minutes and eventually made it through God's narrow road. Beyond the dense forest, there was a relatively open space. We'd arrived at the entrance inside past when Haru-chan escaped the settlement and I searched for her. There were the same two large stones, and they did a great job telling me that this was some sort of boundary. We're close. I felt like I heard a hint of nervousness in her tone. Were we about to enter a strange realm, or were we already there? There was no point thinking about it now. We just passed the gate and... she was. I stared carefully, not to lose sight of her. This is kind of like when we saw her in the bushes. At least I think that was her. Our eyes met. Mysterious red stare. White hair trailing behind her. She looked at the van as we passed. And she fell.
岩
まで後頭部を強打しもだえ苦しんでいる。すみません、止めてください。
she hit the stone. She hit her head on the stone and is now writhing in pain. Hey, please stop the van. What? Sudden as it was, Hashimoto, she stopped the van. I jumped out and ran to her.
大丈夫ですか？
Are you alright? Oh. She was still writhing on the ground with her hands on her head. There was no trace of the divinity and mystery from last time, or from just a moment ago. It
でし
hurts.
ょうね。
I can tell.
どなた？
Ah, who are you?
通りすがりのものです。
Just a passerby.
私は誰？
Who am I?
ちょっと待て。
Hold on.
一度行ってみたくて。
I merely wanted to say that. What
手を
the?
おかましになる余裕が終わりで。
Oh, so you feel up to joking around at least, huh?
あまりの痛みに取り乱しました。
The pain made me lose my composure for a moment. The girl, or rather, woman since she was older than me, became red as a tomato right before my eyes. Rikaku Uematsu. Was she an albino? Her skin and hair were pale, while her eyes were blood red. Her unusual appearance and manner of speech were exactly as I remembered. But man, where did this playfulness come from? Well, I had spoken to her much last time, so maybe I didn't know her as well as I thought I
大
did.
丈夫なんですか？実際。
Are you okay? Be
痛
honest.
いのは平気な証拠と、ありし日の母は申しておりました。
My late mother said that pain is proof you are well. Proof that you are well? I'd say pain is proof that you're alive.
いや、それは場合によりけりで。失礼。
Hey, that depends on the situation. Excuse me. Slightly hesitant, I reached out for her head, gently touched it, and examined the damage. Ow.
ああ、ちょっと血が出てますね。飛ぶもできそう。冷やしながらしばらく安静にした方がいいです。
Oh, you're bleeding a bit. That's gonna leave a bump. You should take it easy for a while.
お医者様でいらっしゃる？
Are you a doctor?
いえ、常識の範囲の応急手当ですが、とりあえず見える限りでは大怪我じゃなさそうですが。
No, this sort of thing is common knowledge. From the look of the wound, it isn't that bad, is it?
あの、
Yeah,
気分が悪いですか？
are you okay?
いえ、なんだか髪を触られると。
Yes, but having my hair touched like that makes me feel... Yes, but having my hair touched like that makes me feel a bit odd.
悪い気持ちではないのですが、なんだかその
I rather like the feeling, but I'm
心持ちが
uncertain how I should respond. What's the skin on her head sensitive or
いき
something?
なり第一村人とスキンシップとはふさしくやるわね。
Physical intimacy with the first villager you meet. Not bad, Fusaishi-kun. Really? I want to punch you in the face right now, Hisako. Because that's the first thing that you go to. We're just trying to make sure things are fine.
何をおっしゃる、うさぎさん。
What are you saying?
茶髪の男が上松様を手ごめにしよる。
A brown-haired man is trying to take Uematsu-sama. Out of nowhere came the old lady.
礼儀ですよ。というかおばあさん、その上松様がそこで間抜けに滑って頭に大怪我を。
No, I'm not. Listen up. Lady. Uematsu-sama here slipped and hit her head, so I just... I don't really like the shaking this much, but it does add in some effect that's pretty nice. What horrible things did this hoodlum do to you, Uematsu-sama? How awful. Man alive. They really do put their mind in the gutter before me. She wasn't listening at all. Feeling a bit stupid for worrying so much about her, I explained what happened and cleared up the misunderstanding. My apologies for the trouble. The ones to blame are the ones who misunderstood.
すみません。
Sorry.
上松様、とりあえずお家で横になっとるのがええ。
Now, Uematsu-sama, you should come home and rest at home.
山脇さん、ご心配なさらず。
No need to worry about me, Yamawaki-san.
ちょうど野里様が休みずに来とられますからね。今呼びますから。
Yosato-sama is in Yasumizu right now. I'll call him.
黙で送りましょう。
We can take you.
お願いしようか。
Yes, please do. Now, this was unusual. She hated outsiders, but she couldn't say no to Hashimoto-san's presence. That does have me a bit curious. For sure.
上松さんですっけ。病院とか行かなくて大丈夫です？
Uematsu-san, was it? Are you sure you don't have to go to the hospital?
お医者様がいらっしゃるので。
We have a doctor here.
ならいいけど。手を貸すわ。乗れる？
Really? That's good. Then we'll give you a hand. Want to get on?
お手数おかけします。
Apologies for the trouble.
久石くん、悪いけど後ろね。
Sorry, Fusaishi-kun. You're stuck with the back. It was full of equipment, though.
歩きますよ。
I can walk.
やめなさい。
Don't. What? I'd been talking nonchalantly, but her response was a stern one. Well, it was true I could have caused some serious trouble if I arrived completely alone. I knew this from my experience arriving via Saranaga. Also, I wasn't supposed to be familiar with the area. I had to avoid looking suspicious.
本当にすみません。
My apologies. My apologies,
いえいえ、気になさらずに。
It's fine, don't worry about it.
その、
No, I mean,
上松、リカ子と申します。
I am Rikako Uematsu.
回るに末で、上松、
Rikako.
花で、
Rikako as in plum flower, and Uematsu as in spin and end.
そういえば、まともに自己紹介もしてませんでしたね。
Oh, right. We haven't properly introduced ourselves,
久石春明です。厨房の棒に石器の石。陽明学の陽明で春明と読みます。
Haruaki Fusaishi. Fusa from kitchen, and Ishi from stone tools, and Haruaki from the Japanese for Neo-Confucianism.
不妻子、春明様。
Haruaki Fusaishi? Felt like she didn't get it at all. Anyway, thanks to that, I became an inhabitant of the back seat and a fellow passenger alongside Rikako Uematsu. For a brief moment anyway, we didn't speak much. The only noteworthy thing was the strange smell of dried aromatic wood she brought along. Besides that, I was just struggling to keep my seat as we jostled down the bumpy road. Leaving a trail on the unpaved road, we arrived and drove through Yasumizu. We passed the front of the Nasato mansion, then the construction site, Tai-san's house probably, until finally we arrived at the plaza. By the time we got there, Uematsu seemed to be in perfect health and apologized profusely for the trouble she'd caused, though it'd be best if she took care of the wound on her head. Mamiya-san and I went alongside her and took her to the house she was living in. It was the same place where she'd lost her mind and the rest of us had barricaded her in.
じゃあ、念のため、野里様を待ちます。
Now then, I shall wait for Nosato-sama just in
お大
case.
事にね。
Take care.
はい。夫妻子様も、このご恩はきっと。
Yes, Saishi-sama, I will surely make it up to
い
you.
や、お気になさらず。
Oh, don't worry about that. Ah. Whoa. I'd completely forgotten about Uematsu-san's extra.
どこの子？
Oh, who's this
昨
girl?
日、会いませんでしたか？
You didn't...
休みずに迷い込んだ子です。
You did not see her yesterday? She wandered into Yasumizu 2 days ago.
あら、上富士吉から？それじゃあ、今日連れて行きますよ。
Oh, from Kami Fujiyoshi? I can drive her back if you want. No, she. E.
あ、とりあえず他の人に事情を聞きません？リカコさんは休まないと。
Well, why not ask someone else? Rikako-san needs to rest. Oh.
確かね。それじゃあ植松さん、失礼するわ。
You have a
この子は
point.
いいのかしら。
You have a point, then we'll be leaving now. What about this
ねえ
girl?
子。
Mako. Uematsu-san called to Mako and brought her inside. A stronger smell began wafting from the building. Maybe they were burning
可愛いわ
incense.
よね、彼女。
She's cute, isn't
で
she?
すね。
Yeah.
しかも、あの風貌にあの装束。神秘的だわ。
Her attire combined with her appearance make her look just mystifying.
気づ
Attire?
かない？形は巫女服っぽいけど、墨染めなとこは仏門っぽい。
You didn't notice? Well, it's in the style of a Shinto shrine, animated uniform. The dark coloration is clearly Buddhism
明ら
influenced.
かに宗教的な意味がある格好。こんな偏僻な場所に独自の信仰があるなんて。
It's clearly religious garb. I never expected a place so remote to have its own religion. How exciting.
お仕事熱心なのは結構ですが、少々よその事情に立ち入りすぎじゃありませんかね。
It's good to be enthusiastic about your work, but there are limits to how far you should pry, don't you think? Well, last fruits, you just made me want to punch you in the face almost every time you appeared, but you're at least making a good point now. Man, everyone seemed to just appear out of nowhere this time.
野里さん、すみません、失礼しました。植松さんの手当てで？
Oh, Nosato-san, I'm sorry, are you here to treat Uematsu-san? Mamiya-san gave a confident journalistic smile and spoke to Kiyanosuke Nosatoshi.
分かってるなら道を譲ってもらえると幸いですがね。
Yes, if you are aware of
見慣れん
that.
方ですな。
Yes, if you're aware of that, then please clear the way. And who is this man? The man who is going to punch you in the face when things get started. That's who we are.
樋口さんの紹介で、今度こちらに住むことになった久石春明さんですって。
Oh, he's Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Higuchi-san sent him to live here. Huh?
どうも、お世話になります。
Hello, I hope we get along.
藤吉村のではない。
You're not from Fujiyoshi, are you?
はい。いろいろありまして、東京から来ました。
No, I'm not. Things happened. I left Tokyo and ended up here.
樋口はよくわからんことを。しかしまあ、気の毒な。
Welcome back, Justice. We finally got started into the story here. But of course, it's been going for a while. And I'm glad you're back. Let's see, what's Gucci thinking? You have my sympathy though. Anyway, I'm off. I'm coming in, Rikako-san. Sympathy, huh? As condescending as always. That guy back there, Justice, I wanted to punch him in the face. Not this particular moment of this route, but the last time I was going through this, he just did nothing but made me want to punch him in the face, and here he's being a little better. After parting ways with him, we returned to the plaza. Hashimoto-san was taking photos of a small flower nearby. I could imagine that someone told him to not take photos of the houses. We were the only ones here, and I couldn't hear anything but the wind. It was strangely quiet.
相変わらず
Like always, this place is. She fell silent before finishing her derisive comment. Wise move. Wouldn't be good to finish that comment by comparing the place to a ghost town.
じゃあ行こうか。食堂なんだよね、話が言ってるのって。
Let's go then. You're going to the dining hall, right? Yes. Despite having next to nothing to do with me, Mommiya-san was helping me out a lot. Then again, she was heading there too.
お待ちしてました。久石さんでしたっけ？それに宝生さん、橋本さん。
Oh, I've been waiting for you, Visaishi-san, yes? And hello to you too, Hosei-san and Hashimoto-san. Hello.
どうもどうも。
Hello. It took a lot to keep myself from saying hello.
井口さんからこちらをご案内いただいてまいりました。よろしくお願いします。
Higuchi-san sent me here. A pleasure to meet you. Shoji Higuchi had pushed me into working at the dining hall here. Not the watering hole, but dining hall. He'd strongly emphasized that it wasn't under his control. That was why it had been decided I'd meet Kaori-san. Oh my. He suddenly remembered that, huh? But I was kind of in the same boat. Let's see, she had an oval, composed, slightly haggard face, and I couldn't see a hint of the demon from before. The demon from before, that came because she was on edge. Though, of course, she was a bit scary in that regard. Apparently, it was for their children. Some parents could become both demons and angels. I kind of felt like that applied to the entire history of mankind, for better or for worse.
きちんとされてるのね。お若いのに。
My, you're well behaved for someone so young.
いえ、落ちこぼれですから。
Oh no, I'm just a failure.
そんな。でも本当にいいのかしら。こんな。ね。
Oh, come now, but are you sure you want to, you know?
いいんです。いろんな人に言われますけど、いいところじゃないですか。
It's fine, many people say otherwise, but this is a nice place.
そう。でも、聞いたかわからないけれど、食堂といっても、炊き出し係みたいなものだから。
It is, but I don't know if you've been told, but this dining hall is more like a ration distribution house.
その、言いにくいのだけど、お給金とかは、食事はもちろん出せるのだけれど。
This is hard for me to say, but you won't be paid. The most we can offer is mills.
構わないですよ。お金がなくても素朴に生きていければそれで。
I don't mind if I can live a simple life. I don't need money. Why?
じじいかよ。
What are you, an old fart? Suddenly Yoshisugu Oribe-kun walked through the door, displaying the same recklessness that probably gotten him killed last time.
義継、あんた学校はどうしたの？
Yoshisugu, why are you not in school?
うるせえ、行かねえっつってんだろ。おい死に損ない野郎、死に損なってここに来たそうじゃねえか。ダッセーな。
Shut it, I said I ain't going. Hey, you fucking zombie. He heard you came here because you couldn't die. That's so lame. Really? You make me want to punch you in the face, Yoshisugu. Especially because I don't know what's gonna happen to you this time, but I still remember you ending up dying because of corruption.
義継、あんたなんてことを。
Yoshisugu, how dare you? Oh, words spread fast around here. They'd called and told Kaori-san about it, then she told it to several other people and it probably leaked.
本当だ、僕だっせ。
Yeah, I'm so lame.
頭おかしいのかてめえ。
The hell? You okay upstairs?
僕ばっか。
I can't say I am. I'm an idiot.
おいババア、こんなやつ雇んじゃねえよ。店めちゃくちゃになんぞ。
Hey, Hag, don't hire this guy. He'll mess up the place.
もう行かない。手伝いもしないあんたが何を言うの？
I don't want to hear that from someone who doesn't go to school or help around.
うっせえ。おいバカてめえ茶髪野郎。おめえ本当に死にに来たのかよ。詐欺とかじゃねえんだろうな。
Shut up, hey, you brown-haired dumbass. You seriously came here to die? Or is that an act or something? I twitched.
そんなわけないじゃないか。ははは。
Ha ha, as if, ha ha ha.
おいババア、こいつ超怪しいぞ。
Hey, Hag, this guy's weird as hell.
私はババアなんて名前じゃありません。
My name isn't Hag.
ははは。はははは。
Ah ha 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 ha.
外野から悪いんだけど、久石くん悪ふざけはほどほどにね。
I know I have nothing to do with this, but you should keep your joking around to a minimum.
すみません。だけどまあ、皆さんとは長い付き合いになりそうですから、親しくはしたいですね。
Ha ha ha. Sorry, I just felt like we'd been living together for a long while, so I ought to be as friendly as possible. Except nobody knows that you've lived through this except for maybe one person. But we don't know her story yet.
吉次くんっていうのかい？じゃあ一つ賭けをしようか。
Yoshisugu-kun, was it? Wanna make a bet?
なんだよ腰抜けがよ。
What kind of bet, you coward? I looked into my large bag and took something out. Specifically a new pocket
これで
knife.
僕の小指を切り落としてごらん。
Use this to cut off my pinky. Everyone instantly fell silent. I ignored them and continued.
手をこうしておくからさ。ナイフは、はい、そこに置くね。
Come on, I'll put my hand down and I'll put the knife right here.
何言ってんだてめえ。
The hell do you say?
お近づきの印に指詰めさせてあげるって言ってるの。
I'm saying I'll let you shorten my finger as a sign of our
お
friendship.
かしいだろっつうの。つうか、そんなん普通自分でやるもんだろ。
I'm saying then that's insane. Hell, that's something you do to yourself.
そうだ。自分でできねえからそうやってやらせようってんだ。やっぱ腰抜けじゃねえか。あ？
You're making me do this because you can't do this yourself, huh? You really are a coward, huh?
自分でしてもいいんだけど、これは賭けであり、度胸試しだからね。僕を腰抜け呼ばわりした君も度胸を示すべきだろ。
I can do it myself, but this is a bet and a test of courage. If you're gonna call me a coward, you gotta oh, you're not one yourself, right?
君がナイフを振り下ろせれば君の勝ち。逃げなければ僕の勝ち。
Swing the knife down and you win, and if I don't back out, I win.
つまり、見事君が僕の指を切り落とせれば二人とも勝ちだ。そうなったら晴れて友達になろうじゃないか。
That means that if you cut off my finger, we both win. Then we'd be friends with no hassle involved.
吉次くん。
What do you think, Yoshisugu-kun? I smiled and pointed at the knife on the table with my finger.
何バカなこと言ってんだ。頭おかしいんじゃねえの。
The hell are you talking about? Are you nuts?
さっきからそれしか言ってないね。だから、おかしいんだよ、頭が。
That's pretty much all you're saying now, but yeah, I really am nuts.
君はまともな人間の方がいいの？そんな格好で、お母さんに当たり散らしておいて。
Or what, you prefer normal people? You who looks like that and gives no respect to his mother?
僕はおかしな人間の方が好きさ。見せてくれよ。君のイカれてるところを。
I prefer weird people, you see. Show me how insane you can get. Ah ha 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 ha. Man, this was just too much fun. Yoshisugu-kun looked right about ready to shit his pants. But it was time to back off.
なんちゃって。
Gotcha! What a shame, huh, Yoshisugu-kun?
嘘。そんな痛いことやんないよ。まあ、急には無理でも、じきに仲良くしてくれたら嬉しいな。よろしく。
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do something that hurt that much. Well, even if we can't get along now, we'll be friends eventually.
気使ったつもりか。
You actually think that helps? Jokes aside, he was actually pretty sharp. He and his brother were nothing alike, but it wouldn't have been surprising if he also had a talent for seeing through people. He had Higuchi blood in his veins, after all. Perhaps it was genetic. He left without saying another word. Kaori-san didn't even tell him to go to school.
すみません。変なことをしちゃいました。
I'm sorry, that was weird, wasn't it?
うちのバカ息子がとんだ失礼を。でも、
no.
びっくりしたわ。弾力が終わりなのね。
No, my stupid son had it coming. That shocked me a bit, though. You have nerve, don't you?
そんなことないですよ。賭けを放棄したので僕の負け。多分追い詰めたら彼はやってみせたでしょうからね。
No, I don't. I'm the one who called it off, so I lost. He probably would have done it if I'd kept pushing him. After all, he was the type who'd pick a fight with something inhuman and die.
でも、お母さんの前で血を見せるのはためらったんでしょう。きっと、根はいい子なんですよね。彼は。
He probably didn't want to draw blood in front of his mother. I think he's a good kid at heart. My words almost made Kaori smile, but...
いえ、ほんと、お恥ずかしい限りで。体ばかり大きくなって、私などはもう口出しくらいしかできなくて。
Oh, but I do feel embarrassed. He grew too big for me to handle, and now all I can do is scold him. She decided to keep up the act of the strict mother. Puberty and rebellion sure seemed complicated. Usaishi-kun, come here for a sec. I did just that.
あなた、もしかしてあっち系の人間？追っ手がかかって逃げてきたとか、捕まったらけじめとか？
Are you actually one of those kinds of people? Did they send someone after you? Would it be over if they caught you?
いや、違いますよ。指爪は適当に言っただけです。その手の事情で皆さんに迷惑かけることはないです。
No, I suggested the finger thing for no real reason. Trust me, I won't trouble the people here.
いいけど。
I hope so. She was actually suspicious. I had to act out a better normal person. This wasn't the time to mess around.
とにかく、雑用でも何でもしますので、使ってやっていただければと。
Anyway, I'm here to help with anything. Use me however you like.
ええ、それは構いませんよ。どのみち上の方の決めたことなのだし。
Oh, very well.
住むところをどうしようかしらね。
Oh, very well. This was decided by those up there anyway. But before that, I wonder where you'll be staying. Oh, I kind of expected them to be already decided on that.
挨拶がてら行ってきますよ。誰に頼むのがいいですかね。
I'm going to introduce myself to everyone. Who should I ask about
基
that?
本的に土地のお話は山脇さんのところかしら。
The one in charge of the land is
さっき
Yamawaki-san.
のおばあさんよ。車で通った一軒家に住んでらっしゃるわ。
The old lady from before, she lives in one of the houses we passed. Oh yeah, when Takumi-san gave me the key to my dorm room, he told me he got it from the old lady. Was she like the landlord of
この
Yasumizu?
辺にいらっしゃらないかな。植松さんのお見舞いとかで。
Maybe she's not too far, like visiting Uematsu or something.
あら、植松さんどうかされたの？
Oh, did something
さっ
happen?
き転んで頭を打って。
She fell and hit her head and I left that talk to Mamiya-san and opened the door so I could see the plaza. By the time I realized that someone else was on the other side, it was fully open. Seeing the person's face almost made me say her name in surprise. Jamie Serizawa. I couldn't save her. I couldn't fulfill my promise. But we'd met again thanks to that strange looping phenomenon. Whether it was something to feel thankful about was another
はじ
matter.
めまして。
Nice to meet you. Now let's see what's gonna go on here. Because so far, the townsfolk were like, who are you? And so it's nice to meet you thing will be useful. But she said something that suggested she experiences a phenomenon too. Not that it actually is the case, but she already alluded to hints of it. I kept my surge of emotions under control and gave an amicable smile. But, just as she made that simple sound, a lone tear ran down her cheek.
目にゴミ入った？
Oh, do I have something in my eye? Her voice was calm. But the first tear made way for many more, and they were soon streaming from both eyes.
なんだこれ。かおりさん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと手拭いかなんかもらえます？
What? Carrie-san, do you have a hand towel? Her reaction didn't seem to be anything more than confusion at her body going out of control.
まあ、どうしたの？はい、手拭い。
Oh my, what's wrong? Here you
わ
go.
かんなくて。なんか、催涙ガスとか煮込んだりしてないですよね。
I don't know. Do you have tear gas here or something?
記者の方にお出しする獅子慣れが傷んでたのかしら。
Perhaps the shishi air I'm making for the journalists is rotten.
いやいや、言ってみただけです。なんか、こう、なんだろうな、更年期かな。
Hey, I didn't mean that. What is it then? Menopause? My gosh, you're too young for that.
まあ、ちえみちゃんはまだ大丈夫よ。
Come now, you're too young for that. Even she says it.
すみません。変なとこお見せしちゃって。
I'm sorry for acting weird. She wiped her tears. Her eyes didn't look good, but her voice was cheerful and carefree, just like mine in my memory.
急に休みずに済むことになった方ですよね、お兄さん。
So she's going to pretend she doesn't know either, huh? You're the person who suddenly ended up living here, right, mister? That was a word used on strangers. Why had she cried?
そんなに恐ろしい外見かな。
Yes, am I that
い
scary?
やいやいやいや、普通にシュッとされてますし、全然。これはなんだろう、謎現象です。
No, 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 no. You look perfectly fine. It's just, well, a mysterious event. Mysterious, huh? Are you gonna reveal further hints that you experience things like us, possibly? Because the crying already kept giving me that vibe.
あ、私、芹沢千恵美って言います。学生で里帰り中です。第一印象最悪かもですが、よろしくお願いします。
My name is Jamie Serizawa. I'm a student back home for the time being. I know I made a poor first impression, but I hope we can get along. She bowed to me. She really didn't know who I was. Or she could just be acting. The tears are hints to that possibility. Due to the looping phenomenon, dying had sent me back to the point when I was wandering around on my bike. It was something that actually happened and I had to accept it, but it was also completely unreasonable. I didn't have any good way to reasonably explain it. Was the looping centered around me? Was I really the only one who had memories of last time? It wouldn't be strange for there to be someone else. My memories were fragmented right now, and I often remembered things only when it counted. It could be that the others had forgotten almost everything but still had certain fragments of their memories and feelings. I had to stop thinking about this. I couldn't have asked her to console me about the tragic end that hadn't even happened yet. I'd have been barking up the wrong tree. If everything worked out, I hoped I could get close to her again. Love that depended on death, despair, and suspension. And the suspension bridge effect was better off staying in the realm of fiction where it belonged. We exchanged a few words, but I didn't have much time. I had to focus on getting a place to stay. Anyway, just like I said, I first went into Uematsu's house, son's house. Obviously, it didn't seem like there were many people inside. I hesitated for a moment, but ended up knocking. Who is it? That was Mako's voice. Could she even understand me?
フサイシと名乗ったものですけど。
I'm Fusaishi from before. Fusaishi from before, son? She's a child, but so cute.
いや、フサイシ春明。ここにおばあちゃん来てる？
No, I am Fusai. I'm Haruaki Fusaishi. Is the old lady there? No. Oh, so I was off the mark.
わかった。それじゃね。
Alright, see you then.
お兄ちゃん。ふさあきさん？
Yeah, oh, what? Oni-chan? Fusai... Aki-san? Fusayuki-san? Wrong.
ちょっと、お待ちください。
Please wait a moment. Oh, Uematsu-san? She told me to wait, so I did. Soon enough, the door opened up.
お待たせしました。
I apologize. I apologize for the wait. How may I help you?
山脇さんに会いたいんですが、さっきあんな様子だったし、こっちに来られてないかと思いまして。
I'm looking for Yamawaki-san. From how she acted, I thought she came to visit you.
まだお見えになりません。
I haven't seen her yet.
みたいですね。 それじゃ。
Looks like it. I'll be going
い
then.
や、山脇様に何のご用だったか。
Oh, what did you need her for?
ああ、いや、一応こっちに住むことになったんですが、住む場所がまだ決まってないんですよね。
Well, I'm gonna live here now, but I still don't have a place.
回れる？
You will live here?
ええ、それで相談を。
Yes, and I need to talk about that. Oh. What did she mean by this?
宿なしはいけません。
But you cannot be without a place to stay. Yeah.
夕霧立てば宴の支度と申しまして。
Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. Wait, this again? That made me flinch. Did it show on my face?
富士吉の者は霧を不吉なものと習います。霧が立つ日は身を清めて
The people Fujioshi. People
過
Fujio.
ごすのが常でございます。
People Fujiyoshi believe that the mist is an ill omen. If it comes, we must clean our bodies, shut ourselves in, and go to sleep early. Cleanse, shelter, dream.
それは、面白い風習ですね。
That's an interesting tradition. That was what I would have thought if I didn't know about the tragedy.
差し出がましいかもしれませんが。
This might be a bit presumptuous, but I do know of one empty house. Huh? She told Mako to entertain herself and took a key from her house. Instead of telling me more about it, she insisted on going outside despite my polite protests. I had no choice but to follow after. We passed the plaza and went down the hill. She tripped 2 times. It
で
hurts.
しょうね。
Looks like it.
転ぶのも頭を打つのも常ですので。
I fall and hurt my head. I fall and hurt my head on the regular, so I'm used to the pain. That's not a good sign, Rikako.
ダメですよ。そんなんで草っぱらを歩いちゃ。
You shouldn't walk around grass like this in that attire.
これも植松の仕事ですから。
This is an Uematsu duty.
そうなんですか？
It is. Let's see. We're kind of getting close on time, so I'm at least gonna go and see until he gets his house and then see what things are like before deciding what to do. But I at least want to see what building we're gonna be in for this route. Let's see. So, it is.
雲はネアのはしため。
The spider are bedroom woman servants. Woman servants? And bedroom ones? Why are you saying this? That was a new term. Bedroom woman servants, women who serve you in the bedroom? That sure sounded sexy. Well, it's not hard to go down that road, but I'm like, is that really what was meant by that? And the spider was one of the guardians of Great Lord Shinai-san. What is Shinai? That reminded me. Jamie had told me that the Uematsu were the family of the spider.
黄泉の木は皿長より湧き、
When
ま
the,
ずは
pa-
人の正気を蝕むと言います。
when the power of Yomi rises from Saranaga, it is said to bring madness first and
そ
foremost.
こからかつて植松家は野蛮として
That's why the
海を守る
That's why the
役目を担っ
Uematsu.
たのです。
Yeah. That's why the Uematsu of old had the role of protecting the dreams of the villagers. Were they late, like night watchmen or something? It wouldn't have been weird for a police force. No police-like force to still retain power in this day and age.
でも夜だと 1000% 転ぶから昼に見回りをされていると。
But you'd fall all the same at night, so you walk around during the day instead, huh? Whoa. Was she alright?
ちなみに今長者と呼ばれている人たちみんなそういう言われみたいなものを持ってるってことですか？
By the way, do all the heads of the village have roles like that?
よく知っておいでですね。
Yes, I'm surprised you noticed. Well, we knew from the last loop about all this, so it's not surprising to me as the reader.
上富士吉を通ってきたんですが、樋口さんはかなり力のある方に見えました。
I came here through Kami Fujiyoshi and Higuchi-san. Well, he looked pretty powerful.
樋口家は猿、
See,
日盛り。
the Higuchi family are the monkey protectors of the watering hole's flame. There was that term again, watering
火を
hole.
使っちゃならなかったのをこっそり使ってたとかなんとか。
They used fire when it wasn't allowed, huh?
水場と偽って火を焚くことを人に教えたのが
Yes, we are told
猿で
they.
あったと
Yes, we are
伝わって
told.
おります。
Yes, we are told they claimed to run a watering hole while in actuality were teaching people to use fire. And they used this to gain influence as the source of everyone's
さ
food.
っきいたのは野里さんでしたっけ？あの人も長者だとか。
What about Nasato-san's family? They're one of the head families too, aren't
野
they?
里家はカラス、
The
木の
Nasato,
葉見て
the Nasato are the crow, the Eve Eaters.
ピンときません。
I have no idea what that means.
屍を読み人かどうか
They
検証する
inspect.
役。
They inspected a corpse belonged to a Yomobito or not. They performed autopsies? That didn't seem very important.
実際はクス氏、武士は渦とも呼ばれ
They were actually the
ことを
he.
許されました。
Yeah. They were actually the healers. They were the only ones who could use Essonite, also known as Wolfsbane. So that's how we knew about that.
の里は薬作ってた家だからね。
Desato is the family that made medicine.
獅子竹にトリカブトが入っている。
Wolfsbane the plant, there's Essonite in the food. Oh yeah, that was true. Well, an autopsy was a medical procedure, and if they could use poisonous plants on top of it, they could have easily garnered lots of
なる
respect.
ほど。もう一つはなんて言いましたっけ？
I see, what was the last
身
one?
車、
The Migurama. Right, I hadn't met a single person linked to that one.
蛇は蔵の見張り、
The snake are the tower lookouts.
植松は見張りの家では
The
ありません
Uematsu,
から。
the Uematsu aren't lookout family.
食料版ですか？
That doesn't give me enough.
いえ、蔵というのは
Tower
野外
as
の
in
ことです。
towers in
じゃ
Watchtower.
あ軍事的な。
So they're in charge of the military here?
かつて櫓を組んで星を見たと
They used
暦
to
を作り
no, they used to
天気を
build
読み
no, they
豊
used
作
to
の目当てをつけたと
No,
伝えられます。
no, they used to build watchtowers and watch the stars. They made calendars, read the weather, and led the local
その
farms.
職能は畏敬を受けやがて親内様の
That
神官
role
としての役目も
that role made them respect. Yeah, that role made them respected, and they eventually became Shinai-sama's
なる
priests.
ほど。
I see. We have our TV weather ladies now, but back in the day, astronomy and meteorology were linked to divination, leading many to consider them special powers that let them predict the future and bring good things in general. Farming was the building block of civilization. Having it was a matter of life and death, so it was only natural for those who offered guidance in that field to become leaders.
教えていただいてありがとうございます。深い歴史のある土地なんですね。愛着が湧きそうです。
Thank you for telling me. This place has a rich history, huh? I think I could grow attached to it.
そうですか。初めて言われました。
I see. This is the first time I've heard such words
本
spoken.
当ですか？普通に興味深いですが。
Really? It's pretty interesting, though.
藤吉の生まれでない人にお話ししたことがありませんので。
I never explained this to someone born outside of Fujiyoshi. Alright, she refused to go into detail last time. Infiltrating the village really was a good idea, huh?
そうこうしているうちに着きました。あれです。
Alright, so you at least see the house. So I'm gonna save here and call it a day. So here. Yep. Alright. So I thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you're watching this over on YouTube and you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and share this with anybody else that you think might enjoy this. And if you'd like get the chance to chill with me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to hopefully be notified of when I'll be live again. And as for when I'll be live again, I'm not too certain on that at this time, but I am thinking tomorrow it'll probably be a morning stream again, but I usually keep people up to date on that in the posts tab of my YouTube channel. And let's see, if you are watching this on Twitch, you all know what to do. And speaking of Twitch, let me check on somebody to raid. Okay. Alright. We are probably going to be raiding a Meowting Z who's playing Legend of Dragoon. They're a nice and chill individual and enjoys dark sense of humor. So let's go ahead and give him a watch. Okay, so looks like he's not online. So let's try somebody else then. So let's go looking for Genshin Impact, just to have somebody to chill out to. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. I don't know about this person, but we are gonna try and raid a Hokkaido stream. So let's go ahead and check them out. It looks like they're going through Nod Cry here. Anyway, give them my regards, and I hope they're a nice streamer. Tell them I'll be there when I can. And with that out of the way, I thank you all again for coming. Bye.